Okay, dokie, beautiful people. How we doing? How we living? How we feeling? It's a great day to talk 2025 Dynasty rookies. I apologize for the lateness. I am finishing up some content for you guys for a video that releases on Monday. And let me just say, I feel like the research I've done for the video coming out on Monday will really transform the way I operate in all of my Dynasty leagues. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm excited for you guys to watch it. And I appreciate y'all being here in the chat. What is up, Brizzleton in the building? We've got Macy, who says 36 days until the NFL draft. That's... wow, that is actually kind of scary to think about. What's up, Brizzleton in the building? What's up, Rain? What's up, Charlie, Albert, Wyatt, Scribble, Styles, Sammy? We've got Beat in the building. K Money in the building. Matthew says the wife's out of town. We can talk about Ricky all we want, which we love to see it. Badaki's going to be joining us here later. What is up, Lucas, Gorilla, Dale, Chase, Jordan, 9Ball Boy? What's up, Booty Clap King? Constantly clapping the booties and rocking up to the live streams. We appreciate y'all being here and being a part of the stream. Do me a massive favor, smash that like button to show some love. What's the like goal we put on today's stream? 125, was that it? I think 125 is a goal. And if we reach that, we'll do a second rookie mock draft. If we don't, no pressure, no stress. We got a bunch of team playbooks we want to churn out as well. So if you guys are, if you're out here, and you got your playbook, we're going to be looking at a lot of those tonight. Let me actually give you guys an update as far as the people that we are reviewing tonight. Okay, so ATJ, their review is already done, and we're going to send that out to them within the next 48 hours. So Big Bishop. Wait, did we not do Big Bishops? Oh, wait. No, I understand. Okay, Big Bishop we're probably doing today. ATL is offline. Mighty Boosh is offline. Game is offline. So the next one we'll probably do today is Rowan. Okay, so Rowan, Big Bishop, TT, Pie, and probably George at minimum. We'll get through all of those today, which will be exciting. We've got a couple trade questions. I want to get through those to start the stream, and then I will get to this rookie mock draft. I just want to make sure we show these people some love here before we get going. Gritty City. It's a 2-quarterback, 12-team start 9, and it looks like they're sending away a second Penix Jonathan Taylor, and they will be getting back the 112 Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. And this seems like a no-brainer yes to me. Again, Superflex League. It's a great buy low on CeeDee Lamb. I like Michael Penix. But the fact that you're somehow getting a first-round pick in this deal, maybe this just says how undervalued Dak Prescott is in general. But this is an easy smash accept yes for the Dak Prescott side. And I just want to make sure... he says, my other quarterbacks are T-Law and Murray. I also have the 104 this year. I mean, look, like this is a no-brainer yes for CeeDee Lamb. And I keep telling you guys, CeeDee Lamb is the easiest tier 1 wide receiver that we've ever been able to buy in an offseason. And you just keep seeing it here. M. Reed with the trade question says, traded JT for the 103. I have the 101, 103, 105, and the 106. I'm going to assume that that's 2 different questions, right? Because JT's not involved in this trade that he's asking about. But I like the 103 over JT for sure. And then in this trade, it looks like they would be sending away the 102 and a second for the 104 and DK. Now, I just released a video today talking about updated Dynasty wide receiver rankings. And I am starting to come around on DK slightly just purely because of the type of commitment they've given him. I mean, the contract is crazy. He's basically making Justin Jefferson money, which is like insane to think about. But what does the chat think about this one? I want to hear from you guys. You taking the 102 or the 104 in DK Metcalf in this deal? It is a 10-team league. It's a start 9. I would be devastated if I did this trade and then let's say Omarion Hampton goes round 1 And, you know, I can't go ahead and snag some of Marion Hampton. He already has the 103, I guess. So if he does this deal, he's still going to have the 101, the 103, the 104, the 105, and the 106. But it's a 10-team league. Yeah. DK, a lot of people are saying DK. Yeah. I think we're going to go DK Metcalf here. By the way, Reed says, my bad, it's supposed to be a third, as in what you are sending away. Either way, I think we're going to go DK Metcalf here. We're going to agree with the chat. Takedown Tony is here with the question. And he says, I'd also receive his 27 first. So, wow. Okay, let's try and think through this one for a second here. No additional context. I wanted to double check. But they are sending away the 101, the 104, the 112, the 105, and 2 seconds. And they're getting back Brees, Benson, Monty, Ricky, Ladd, Keon. This is one of the more one-sided trades I've seen in a long time. Even if you add the 2026 first, what was it, 27 first, to the side that you're receiving. This is, yeah, this is... Okay, I mean, let me be transparent for a second here. The 101, in my opinion, and you can disagree with me, guys, is probably worth Brees, Benson, Monty, and Pearsall alone. Probably alone, in my opinion. That's how highly I view Ashton Genty. You can disagree, that's fine. But then you have to ask the question, Ladd McConkey or the 104, the 112, the 105, and then we also just have kind of Keon thrown in there. This is a huge no thank you for me. It's genuinely not even close. It's the 101 side by a landslide. In fact, Tony, whoever sent you this offer, I'd love for you to send this time code that you're about to get. Once I answer your question, you'll get a time code on the site. I'd love you to send this time code to them and say, not today, brother. Not today. You're trying to destroy my friend Tony. You're trying to take him for a ride. Not on my watch. That's disgusting. That's disgusting, and it won't be accepted. Okay? All right, but we'll get to some of these team reviews later on. We are going to do a 2025 Dynasty Rookie Mock Draft, and you guys are going to have a chance to join me. All right, so I appreciate y'all being here. I wanted to say, Brianna Burrow says, listen, I might be out of town, but I'm still here. Pearsall forever. So this must be Matthew's wife. And she's in the chat, which I love that that's happening. That's absolutely incredible. But hey, if you guys are out there and you want to join today's rookie mock draft, you can join our Discord first. All right, I'll walk you through the steps. Step 1, join the Discord. Once you're in the Discord, you will see the announcements tab under the Fantasyland crew. All right, I'll just tell you, a link will be sent here. Okay, that's where the link is going to go. I should get a spot here. I never know where to pick, you know. I'll just go middle of the pack. All right. So link is going to be sent right there. And I'm going to send that bad boy here. It's first come, first serve. We can't control who gets in. And it's being sent in 3, 2, 1. Good luck. May the odds ever be in your favor. We are using a mock draft here from Sammy Stacks. Big shout out to him. If you guys don't know the landing spots, I'll paste them in the chat right now. That's the world we're living in today. And it's also in the description in case you're watching this later. Those landing spots are available to you. I appreciate everybody being in the chat. You guys are awesome. This is a fun stream. I can tell we're going to have a good time. Love all the conversations happening in the chat right now. And do me a favor, smash that like button. Got a like goal today of 125 likes. If we reach that, we'll pop off a second mock draft today. This is the first one out of potentially 2. And let's all take a second, all right? Soothe your mind, and let's transport to an alternate reality. And this is the alternate reality we are transporting to. The latest 7-round mock draft by our NFL draft analyst, Sammy Stacks. All right, he's got an upgraded name now. All right, so we're gonna walk through this. Cam Ward goes number 1. Travis Hunter goes number 2. Then Shedeur Sanders at 3. So 3 very relevant fantasy players straight off the bat. Then we see Tet McMillan going 6th overall. Man, what an interesting story Tet McMillan has been over the last 3 or 4 days, guys. I don't know if you're hearing the same type of stuff I'm hearing, but it started with the pro day, right? Because it was reported that he clocked 4.48 at his pro day. You have to assume home cooking, right? It's not the combine. And then just hours after that report came out, everyone else was like, nah, it wasn't a 4.48. All right, it was a 4.55. It was maybe a 4.6. You know, all these NFL teams who have their own timing people there are saying, it ain't no 4.48. It's a 4.5, 4.6. Regardless, I don't care, right? Like, I just, overall, I think, like, the combine, for the most part, is way overrated, or athletic testing is important, for sure. At certain positions, like tight end, it matters more. But I'm not someone who has consensus number one, Ted McMillan, wide receiver one, no matter what. But I will say, I think that whole storyline is a bit silly. I think his film is more than adequate. And now you have the great Steve Smith coming out with his rankings, right? Where Ted McMillan isn't his number one wide receiver. And I've been on the fence. I've been very strong fast this entire offseason and saying I don't really feel like there is a consensus number one. There's plenty of wide receivers that you can make a case for to be your wide receiver one, but I didn't believe there was a consensus. We're starting to see that come out more and more often. We're starting to hear that NFL teams aren't as high on Ted McMillan as the media is. Some people think Ted McMillan can fall out of the top 20. I don't know if that's the case. I'm just telling you what we're hearing. It could all just be smoke screens at this point. I don't know. But in this world we're living in, Ted is the 6th overall pick to the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, Tyler Warren goes 7th overall to the Jets. Then we see Ashton Jeanty to the Bears. The Bears. All right, then we see Ashton Jeanty followed up by Omarion Hampton, 20th overall to the Denver Broncos. Love that landing spot. Colson Lovin goes to the dream spot here with the Los Angeles Chargers. Then we see Matthew Golden, 29th overall to the Commanders. Good landing spot, a little less appealing now with Debo and Terry all there. Into round number 2, where we see Luther Burden, 35th overall to the Titans. Yeah, it's a possibility Luther falls out of round 1. And I've said this all offseason, I'll continue to say it. Draft capital will massively impact rankings, as it should, because we have a lot of historical data to suggest that it should, right? And if Luther falls out of round 1, of course I have to reassess. If Igbuka falls out of round 1, of course we need to reassess, right? Then we see Jackson Dart going 42 overall to the Jets. Jaden Higgins, 44 to the Dallas Cowboys. Mason Taylor to the Colts. That's a surprise there in round 2. Trey Harris to the Seahawks. Honestly, the Seahawks now become a very obvious wide receiver landing spot, right? And Trey Harris makes a ton of sense. They need a big body, a guy on the outside that can also stretch the field. Trey Harris fits that kind of mold. Jack Best to the Packers, I'm obsessed with. Love that. I don't know why I did that. Sorry. Jalen Nolt to the Panthers, 57th overall. My guy. Quinton Judkins goes to the Texans. So the heir apparent to Joe Mixon. Then we see Travion Henderson gets in round 2 to the Kansas City Chiefs. Into round 3, where Alec A.O. Manor is a Giant. Caleb Johnson is a Brown. Dylan Sampson is a Raider. Jalen Royals, my guy, Jalen Royals. It was awesome to see Steve Smith have Jalen Royals as high as I do. I think that's the first time all offseason I've seen any other person in the media, not that I'm part of the media, right, but be as high on Jalen Royals as myself. So it was awesome to see Steve Smith talk about him. Elijah Arroyo to the Saints here. Love me some Elijah Arroyo. Cam Scatterboo is your Cowboys pick in round 3. Then we see Isaiah Bond to the Steelers. Harold Fannin to the Broncos, which would be a tough spot with him with Evan Ingram there. Xavier Restrepo to the Eagles. Bashul Tootin, or Bashul Tootin, however you say it, goes to the Giants in round number 3. All right, let's go to round 4 here, where we see Jalen Milroe to the Browns. RJ Harvey to the Pats. Excuse me. Savion Williams to the Saints. We see Tez Johnson to the Dolphins. Terrence Ferguson to the Falcons. Torrey Horton to the Titans. Damian Martinez to the Steelers. Perfect, replacement there for Najee Harris, actually. Devin Neal goes to the Packers, which makes that room more confusing. DJ Giddens to the Commanders. Oh, I like that. Brashard Smith, one of my favorite sleepers in the class, goes to the Ravens. Round 5, last round we'll look at together here. Trevor Etienne to the Vikings. All right, Ty Felton to the Jets. Jackson Hawes to the Niners. Kyle Williams, come on, baby. Come on, Kyle. We need you higher than round 5, please. He goes to the Bears. Pat Bryant to the Cardinals. We've got some tight ends off the board. Jarquez Hunter to the Chargers. Jalen Lane to the Texans. Kyle Monangai to the Bills. And then if you want to look at round 6 and onwards, you can do that on your own time. This link to these landing spots are in the chat. It's also in the description. This is the alternate reality that we have entered. And let's see how it impacts Dynasty rookie drafts. Let's talk it up. Let's talk it up right now, okay? I agree, Matthew. Jalen Royals, early second rounder. I'm gonna keep being on that train there. All right, we do see Matthew. Sorry, this has got to be Matthew himself. This is Matthew Smith. I think he's been waiting to get into a mock draft. He's been waiting to assert Cam Ward at the 101. He's a very big Cam Ward guy, right? The infamous Cam Ward is the best prospect since Joe Burrow's stream, if you remember that, you know, a month or so ago. So I'm sure this is him taking his guy. He says, I'm standing on business, been waiting for the 101. Would I do this? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's no way I would take Cam Ward over Genty, especially if Genty goes 10th overall to the Chicago Bears. But it's not the craziest thing we've ever seen in a mock draft, so I can't trash it either. We had Ashton Genty going number 2 overall. Remember, again, Chicago Bears top 10 pick. Travis Hunter, who was the 2nd overall pick to the Browns. I guess you assume here that he's going to play wide receiver if you're going to take him this high. Amarion Hampton, who might end up being the best pick value of this entire draft if he falls to the 104 as a first-round pick. That's crazy. Daniel Macy just got a huge value. He would be my instant 102 if he actually goes 20th overall to the Denver Broncos. It would be locked and loaded. I wouldn't double question any of it. He'd be my 102. I wouldn't think about it. Ted McMillan, remember, goes to the Raiders, so he has Geno Smith. Geno Smith has a long history of, you know, success with these big body receivers, so that's a great landing spot for him. And now your boy's on the clock, and I need to look at all my options here before I make my pick. Amarion's gone. We've got some tight ends here who are interesting. This is a very interesting mock draft. A lot doesn't go exactly the way you want it to, does it? Like, Judkins is really intriguing, but he went to the Texans. I think I know the pick I'm going to make. I just need a second to really digest here. I can't take a Burden Igbuka here with them going round 2. Gold is interesting, Matthew Golden, but Commanders with Debo and Terry there is tough. I like some of these tight ends. If we go in tight end premium, you can make an argument. Shedeur Sanders, you can make an argument here if you're in on him. But I think ultimately we are going to go with a round 2 pick, Mr. Travion Henderson, who lands with the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, this is kind of a piece that this offense hasn't had. Honestly, I can't really think of a Travion Henderson level player in a backfield with Pat Mahomes. I really can't remember the last time you had that type of running back. So I'm going to go ahead and take him off the board here at the 106. You know, Jet McKinnon had a couple really good years where he had like a top 24 finish, just being that receiving back out of this backfield. But to have the juice as a rusher, a receiver, and an offense that quite frankly needs receiving options to step up, I kind of like the Travion Henderson fit there a lot. Then we see Caleb Johnson coming off the board, and Caleb Johnson went to the Browns in the 3rd round. So he's a 3rd round pick there. One of my favorite comps for him is Nick Chubb, so you kind of see that coming to life. A little surprised to see a 3rd round running back go that high. I love Caleb Johnson more than most, but it was a little bit of a surprise for me. Luther Burden coming off the board at the 108. There's Judkins. I kind of feel like Judkins got to go higher in this scenario, guys. I know he goes to the Texans, but if they're drafting him at 58 overall, that tells you they don't think Joe Mixon's going to be a part of their long-term plans, right? I think Judkins, with that 2nd round capital, has probably got to go a little higher than that. But I love me some Luther Burden. I love me some Caleb Johnson, so I can see a valid argument if you want to make the argument for them. But yeah, Burden, by the way, round 2 to the Titans. Is that right? They desperately need someone like this. And, you know, let's not forget, they did just draft Cam Ward. And Cam Ward had a lot of success in college with a slot receiver. We've seen that already. So that's a strong argument that you could make there if you wanted to. As Colson Loveland comes off the board, he's a great value this late in this draft. Remember, the 22nd pick by the Michigan-led Chargers, right? Then Tyler Warren coming off the board. Those guys are probably both pretty big values if this is any sort of tight end premium. So I like those picks a lot. I think they make a ton of sense. And we have the last pick here in round 1. I'm going to ask you guys. We do need to make sure that this isn't a snake. Good catch, guys. I'm going to ask you, though, who's the best value in round 1? All right. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Who do you think is the best value in round 1? We want to hear from you. It's I think Matthew's going to be the only one who says Cam Ward. But I love the conviction. I absolutely love the conviction and the commitment to the bit. I want to hear your thoughts here. As Shedeur Sanders goes off the board there. He's the last pick in round 1. Kind of crazy, right? Like, even someone like me who's not high on this quarterback class, to say that there's a possibility in this class that you could get the 3rd overall pick in the NFL draft, Shedeur Sanders, at the 112 in a superflex format. That just goes to show you how good this class is. I really think it does. I've been on this kind of pedestal for the last couple months. I think this class is way better than anybody's giving it credit for. And I'm going to continue to stand on that pedestal. But in my opinion, if Sanders is a 3rd overall pick, I love me some Luther Burden. Y'all know I'm the Luther Burden guy. I just can't take a round 2 receiver over the 3rd overall pick quarterback in a super flex format, right? So, yeah, that's a great pick. All right, who's the best value in round 1? We've got to hear from you guys here. So we've got a lot of people saying Hampton. Brizzleton says Hampton. Amariana Shedeur, Hampton. I love the Hampton pick as well myself. Hampton or Tet. Prism says we've got a couple people going Judkins. Rowan says Judkins as well as Daniel Macy. Let's see. We've got some people going for the tight end, saying Warren was maybe the best pick in round 1. Tight ends. Tyler says tight ends. Warren. A lot of people go in that direction. Skylar says Burden was the best value in round 1, which we love to see those difference of opinion there. Genty, Greg says at the 102 was the best value. I like him that much, so I can see that. Effie says Cam Ward is the best quarterback prospect since Jamarcus Russell. We love to see it. All right. So a lot of difference of opinion there in the chat, which is what we love to see. That's the beauty of the community. Did that rhyme? Am I Dr. Seuss? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I should start writing children's books. I appreciate y'all for being here. Yeah, if I had to say best value, it would. I kind of would agree with Badaki here, who said Shedeur Sanders. I didn't see anyone else. Oh, Kevin said Sanders as well. I'd have to say Sanders for all the reasons I mentioned earlier. You know, again, the 3rd overall pick. I know I'm not obsessed with this class, quarterback class. You're probably not obsessed with it either. But to get the 3rd overall pick in a superflex format at the 112, that just shows the strength of this class, right? What could potentially be a very, very good class in a bunch of different directions. All right, lots of good players still available on the board, and yeah, let's see how round 2 goes. All right, here we go. Let's get it popping. As Matthew, who took Cam Ward at the 101, is back on the clock. Yeah, we love to see it. Matthew says Badaki is a Giants fan. He isn't serious with that answer. Gorilla, by the way, say Burden would be the wide receiver 1 on that team, working out of the slot with the quarterback who targeted the slot a ton in college. Yeah, look, I love Burden more than most people, Gorilla. So I hear you. I love the guy. I love that potential landing spot. But yeah, so I think, you know, you can make a case for it. You can make a case for it, my friend. All right, Egbuka goes off the board. This is, again, the craziness of this class, guys. I want you to think about this for a second. As Dylan Sampson and Cam Scatteraboo come off the board, think about how crazy this class could potentially be. All right. At the 203, we have a first-round wide receiver. You could potentially get a first-round player in the 2nd round of this class. That is how deep this class can potentially go. Obviously, it depends on how the actual NFL draft pans out, right? We're all aware of that, but it just goes to show how good this class could actually be, where you're getting a first-round wide receiver there at the 203. All right, your boy's on the clock. Egbuka's gone. Higgins is gone. Looking at all my options here. Ooh, I kind of am obsessed with this team and landing spot pairing. I might need to go. I might need to put a stamp. Okay, we're gonna put a stamp here on one of our guys. In round number 2, a team that desperately needs a wide receiver. All right, they just had some injuries to their wide receiver room. There's no clear alpha that's ever really stepped up to the plate. And at the 206, I'm going to draft Sir Jack Besh. Love this guy, man. I love his physicality, his route running ability, finding, the holes in his zone coverage, the elite hands, truly elite magnetic hands. He goes 54th overall to the Packers, who desperately need someone for the future. An organization that is brilliant at drafting round 2 players and developing them into important, pivotal, productive monsters. So we're going to take Jack Besh off the board there at 54 overall. We'll take him at the 206. My pro comp for him is, a little Puka Nacua, Robert Woods, the kind of physicality and, the versatility to his game. But I'm not going to tell you here right now that he's going to be as good as Puka Nacua, just purely play style. I'm obsessed with him here at the 206, as we also get RJ Harvey off the board. So I like where we're going here with this class. We do have a super chat here from Sauce, and appreciate you, Sauce, as Giddens comes off the board. Sauce says, which side do you prefer, the 211 and Mims or Mason and J.K. Dobbins? Weak at running back, but I have the 103, 112, 203, and 208. Would love to poll the chat here. I'd love to get as many thoughts on this question as possible for Sauce. Let's show him some love and give some opinions here. 211 and Mims or Mason and J.K. Dobbins? It's certainly not comforting that J.K. Dobbins hasn't signed anywhere yet. It doesn't mean he's dead, but it's certainly not comforting. I'll be honest, I think the most valuable piece there is either Jordan Mason or the 211. I mean, let's think about this in a second here. The 211 is about to be drafted. And I'm curious to see in this world we're living in what that would look like, right? As Jackson Dart comes off the board. So let's see. At the 211, Jalen Knoll was just taken off the board. And he was a second round pick to the Panthers. That's actually kind of hot. Oh, that's kind of sexy. So, second round wide receiver and Marvin Mims or Jordan Mason and J.K. Dobbins. Wow. I mean, that is... I think the more we think through this, you see everyone's got some different opinions here in the chat, right? Like Rowan saying Mims, Badaki saying Mims, Gorilla saying take Mason and Dobbins. I think everyone's got a lot of different opinions on this one in the chat, which is great because I was looking at it and I was thinking, I have no idea. So that tells you it's a pretty even trade. That tells you it's a pretty even trade for both sides, I'd say. I don't think anyone's a clear winner or loser in that deal, but I don't know why, guys. I'm kind of like obsessed with Jordan Mason right now. I'm kind of obsessed with him a little bit. I got a feeling Jordan Mason could just be like this sneaky top 12 finish that no one saw coming. I mean, Aaron Jones never stays healthy as an entire year. But Mason could be nothing but a depth piece as well, right? There's real upside there, and there's an incredibly low floor for Jordan Mason. So you have to keep that in mind. But the Vikings aren't going to go running back, so it's not like Jordan Mason's going to lose value. The 211 could lose or gain value. Look, quite frankly, I think it could go either way. I really don't have a strong opinion on this question, Sauce. I hope this was helpful, but I have to be honest with you in saying I don't have a strong opinion on this one. I think you can make a case for either side there, right? Another super chat here from Something So Messy, or sometimes something is what it says. Brian Thomas Jr. in the 204 for Brees, DJ in the 305. Super running back needy and stacked at wide receiver, can afford to tear down to DJ. Nervous to pull the trigger. Brian Thomas Jr. in the 204 for Brees, DJ in the 305. Yeah, I mean, look, not everybody's going to agree with me, but I am concerned about Brees Hall. I would have rather you have said Devon Achane, Bucky Irving, and DJ Moore, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. You know, people want to talk about the fact that I keep seeing people comment on our channel. Well, Justin Fields has the highest check down rate in the past however many years. Sure. But if you look at the only year Justin Fields started for the Bears, over 15 games, they were second to last in targets to running backs. And you have to keep in mind that no team has ever trusted Justin Fields to throw the ball much anyway. So if he's throwing the ball 18 times a game, how many checkdowns are really there for a Brees Hall? I don't know. I lean the Brian Thomas side there. I just don't think that's the running back I want to send Brian Thomas away for. You know what I mean? I don't want to send Brian Thomas away for Brees. As crazy as that sounds, you know, I know that's absolutely crazy. All right, let's get into round number 3. I appreciate y'all for being here with me. Got a great group on the stream today. Active live chat. We are currently, just a quick math here. You ready for this? Shoot. We are currently 20. Oh, shit. How many likes are we away? What's 25 plus 7? Why do I need it? 32. We are currently 32 likes away from our goal of 125. If we reach that goal, we will pop off another mock draft for you. So be a friend, smash that like button, and show some love. Let's get to 125. Yeah, all right. Don't judge me off my math, okay? All right, all right. I mean, like, I will say it is a problem. Calculators in general. I feel like you learn so much about math in primary and high school, and then you graduate, and then you're like, okay, what is 11 minus 3? Why do I need to pull out my calculator for this? It's like, I know the answer to this. Anyway, okay, let's get into round number 3 here. Still a lot of great players available. Trey Harris at the 212. I mean, that's pretty nice, man. I mean, Trey Harris, 52 overall to a team that desperately needs an outside X. I like that. You know, obviously you can question the offense he was a part of. You know, the free kind of plays that were drawn up in that Ole Miss offense, but I think that's a pretty good value there. I got to be honest. I really like that pick a lot. So, yeah, great value there at the 212. Sammy says, breaking news, Zach is not an engineer. Oh, you guys are too much. You guys are too much. Yeah. All right. By the way, something says, where did Trav and Tet go in this mock? Yeah, so Trav went 2nd overall to the Browns, and Tet went 6th overall to the Raiders. And if you guys want to keep up with that mock, I'll put it in the chat for you there. Oops, there we go. And yeah, Jalen Royals coming off the board. Love me some Jalen Royals. One of the top players available left in my big board that was available in this draft. Harold Fannin. Interesting spot for Harold Fannin, right? I mean, initially I looked at this, Harold Fannin in the 3rd to the Broncos, and I thought, I don't like this because Evan Ingram literally just signed there, and they're different players, but in the sense of you're really only drafting these guys for their offensive prowess, it was a little confusing. But to be fair, outside of Cortland Sutton, there's not really another receiver they can target. Maybe they view him as like more of an outside receiver than a tight end, right? As Alec A.O. Manor comes off the board, as well as Damian Martinez. I love that Damian Martinez pick, man. That's such a huge potential value there at the 304. Keeping in mind that Martinez goes to the Steelers in the 4th round. And no disrespect to Najee Harris, but kind of the perfect replacement. I mean, I could easily see him and Jaylen Warren splitting touches pretty much day one. I think that's the caliber of player, Damian Martinez. Think of Brian Robinson. I think maybe a better athlete compared to Brian Robinson, but I really like that landing spot a lot. I think that makes a ton of sense there. So yeah. Only numbers Zach knows are positional rankings. I'm trying. 25 plus 7 doesn't compute, but ask any question about trade value and he's got you. Yes. If you want to know how to exploit KTC to the T, I got you. All right. In a website that has 25 million data points, I'll tell you how to exploit it. All right. I'm on the clock here. Let's have a geese. That's some Australian terminology, by the way, you can take home if you want. Start saying, let's have a geese. And basically that just means let's have a look. All right. So you can start saying that in your circles if you want. And people will be like, what does that mean? But let's have a geese here. Ooh, okay. Ooh, actually, that spot's disgusting now after free agency. Harvey was taken, right? Yeah. Ooh, okay. All right. DJ Giddens already went off the board. Ooh. Yeah, we'll do it. I'm going to draft Ollie Gordon. I'll take Ollie Gordon here at the 306. I think this actual NFL mock draft that Sammy put up, it's actually very good. And I say that because it's really frustrating. It's a really frustrating mock to look at beyond the first 3 rounds. It gets incredibly difficult to digest. And I think in that light, he's done a fantastic job here. Because there was no one standing out to me. And I think that's probably more realistic than everyone going in like these perfect ideal landing spots with great draft capital. It's probably more realistic to anticipate things being very difficult after round 2. And I think that's what this mock draft did for us. So yeah, I think in that light, I really, really like what he's done here. Ollie Gordon coming off the board. Jalen Milroe coming off the board. It's hilarious, right? Jalen Milroe, reports were, oh my God, Jalen Milroe ran a 4.37. Anybody else hear that? Anybody else see those reports? And then hours later, everyone's like, no, he didn't though. He didn't run a 4.37 though. So I have no idea who to trust, right? I mean, you had everyone coming out saying he ran a 4.37. Right? SEC Network even said it. And by the way, anything in this range for a quarterback is incredibly good. Like, Jalen Milroe is going to be one of the better rushing quarterbacks in the NFL from day one. Kind of like Malik Willis plus almost. But everyone else comes out pretty much hours later and is like, it wasn't a 4.37. It was more like a 4.4, 4.5, somewhere in that range. So not all that different to what happened yesterday with Tet, or earlier in this week with Tet McMillan. So yeah, point is, the guy is a great athlete. I mean, he's a great athlete. He might not be an Anthony Richardson type of athlete. And I was honestly confused why Jalen Milroe didn't test at the combine. I felt like he, more than any other quarterback in this class, had a chance to improve his stock. If Jalen Milroe showed up at the combine and did maybe, let's say, 80% of what Anthony Richardson did, that's a tall task because Anthony Richardson had the best combine maybe of any quarterback ever. But even if he, just showed that he's an A+ athlete, I think it could have really improved his draft capital. So I did find it a little peculiar, a little interesting that he decided not to test. Because again, I think he had a lot to improve with his stock, but anyway, it's the way the cookie crumbles. Elijah Arroyo coming off the board, 3rd round pick to the Saints. Love the player, hated the landing spot. Devin Neal coming off the board here. I think he was a 3rd or 4th round pick to the Packers. Is that right? Yeah, 4th round pick to the Packers. Love the player, hate the landing spot. And that's the kind of reality we're in right now, right? Round 3 onwards. It's kind of in that situation there. So not all that surprising, is it? But Aki says it was a 4.37. So he timed it himself. Don't worry, guys. We got the official report here. Gorilla says Mason Taylor was a round 2 tied into the Colts in this mock. Great value at the 308. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Xavier Restrepo. I don't even remember saying his name. Yeah, I probably didn't say his name because he went to the Eagles in the late third round, and I probably just tuned it out for some reason. But yeah, he goes to the Eagles round 3. We got a super chat here from Davey. What is up, Davey? Appreciate you joining the stream, man. He says, looking to trade away DK, Jacobs, Ertz, and Bateman for the 109, 206, a 26 first, Jerry Jeudy. Do you prefer Jeudy or Worthy as a final asset? We prefer Worthy, right? But let's just think about this for a second. DK Metcalf, Jacobs, those are the main pieces that you're trading away. So let's not really consider Ertz or Bateman here from a value perspective. You're trading away DK and Jacobs. You're getting back the 109, the 206, a 26 first, and Xavier Worthy. Yeah, that's enough for me to trade away DK and Jacobs for sure. For sure. I think Jacobs is a great buy right now. And I'm a little bit up and down on DK, but to get the 109, the 206, a 26 first, and you're saying you could also get Xavier Worthy, I think that's more than enough to sell DK and Jacobs. Ertz and Bateman don't really play a part in such a big deal. They don't move the needle at all, right? So yeah, we'll definitely go ahead and go Xavier Worthy there. All right, we got Kyle McCord, Isaiah Bond, who was a great pick, 3rd round pick to the Steelers there. Gunnar Helm, Taj Brooks, Trevor Etienne, and now Shaboy's on the clock. I have no idea what to do. Did Savion Williams get drafted? Maybe I could take him. He's fun. Went 3rd round. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, we're good. We're Gucci. We're going to draft Tez Johnson. Will probably be a very commonly drafted player for me in round 4 this year. He goes to the Dolphins in round number 4. And yeah, if at some point they do actually move on from Tyreek, I really like his opportunity to produce in an offense like that. Oh, there's a player I definitely wanted to draft ahead of him, though. Should have taken my time. But one of my favorite running back sleepers is still available somehow. I'm just going to leave it at that. We'll see if anybody drafts him. Davey, by the way, says, I ran this on 4 different trade analyzers. 2 show me winning, 2 show me losing. You know what I can do for you, friend, is I can show you with my rankings. Let's go to my rankings and let's see what the trade says. Or let's use expert consensus on the Flock site. Let's see what the Flock site has to say about this. Let's reload. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that you have a super flex, pretty standard league. Tell me if you are 1 quarterback or something. I can adjust this. But you're sending away DK. You're sending away Jacobs. I really like Bateman's not going to play a part in how I value this, but you're sending away Ertz and you're getting back. Let's recap this again. It was the 109. It was the let's say a 25 second. Oh, oops. All right. You're also getting the 2026. Can you make that 2027 instead? Can you make that 2026 pick 2027 instead? And then you also said you're getting Worthy. So let's see if I look like an idiot. I mean, I would take this trade. Okay, yeah. So it says you win with our expert consensus. If you use specifically my rankings, what will it say? It says you slightly win, so I still agree. But yeah, I would prefer a 2027 first instead of 2026. All right, someone does take my favorite sleeper running back in the class, Brashard Smith. Love that. Rowan takes him at the 409. He went to the Ravens. And maybe this is your long-term Justice Hill replacement, but it was round 4, so that's encouraging. But obviously, I don't know, I can admit, tough to envision exactly what sort of workload he would get. Davey says, that would be buying back my 26 first. Okay, sure. Understood. Rowan says, yes, I got Brashard Smith. I love it. All right, did we reach our like goal? Because if we did, I'm going to pop off another rookie mock draft for you guys on today's stream. Did we reach 125? We are 1 like away. So if anyone out there wants to help us get to that like goal, be a friend, hit that like button. Let's get to 125, and I'll pop off another mock draft for you guys here, right now. Let's keep this party rolling before we jump into some of these team reviews. All right, let's see here. I'm confident you guys have already helped us reach that like goal. I'm going to send out this mock draft in the same location as we previously did. If you guys are out there and you want to join us in some future live streams, be a part of mock drafts, join our Discord. All right, that is the first step there. I'll put that link in the chat. You might need to join that and be prepared for the next one. But once you join our Discord, you'll see the Fantasyland tab. You'll see announcements. This is where we send the links out for you to join us. So I'm going to send this link out here in 3, 2, 1. And yeah, it's a free-for-all. And I'm going to let you guys do your thing, actually. I'm going to watch this time. I'm going to watch this time. Davey says 26 first is just insurance. If full rebuild, your blueprint said 1 year reload. This would be the reload. Okay, yes. I apologize, Davey. Then definitely that makes a lot of sense. And I think you're getting great value in that trade. And I'm glad we were kind of able to get you there together. DX has a question here. Says, is there any specific reason I wanted 27 over 26? Let me just say, if anybody wants to hear my rationale behind that, watch the video that's coming out on Monday. I am doing an insane amount of research. There'll be an article on the Flock site as well, but that's all I'll say. You know, an article comes out Monday as well as a video, and I'll tell you why I prefer 27 over 26. Okay, I'll leave it at that. But we're gonna do 30 seconds on the clock here for this second mock draft. Okay, it's again a super flex tight end premium. And yeah, whatever you guys prefer to do, you can do. I'll be watching here. I'll be commenting. I'll be trying to keep up with the chat a little bit more. If you have questions, put them in the chat, because I'm trying to focus on this second stream at engaging with you guys here in the chat. What's up, ATJ in the building? What's up, brother? Brian Thomas Jr. or Marv long term? I'm definitely going to go Brian Thomas Jr. myself. I think he's more than proved that he is a franchise wide receiver 1, right? And Marv, I'm not questioning whether he can be, but we've already seen Brian prove that he is. 27 class is loaded. I absolutely agree. Chasing says, breaking news, a strong gust of winds just carried Tez Johnson off the field. Why are you doing my boy Tez like that? Huh? As in the first 4 picks, we get Genty. Remember, he went to the Bears 10th overall. Hampton, who went to the Broncos 20th overall. McMillan, who went to the Raiders. And Ward off the board. I am patiently waiting for Matthew to say why Cam Ward was drafted too late. So once he tells us, I'll keep you guys updated. No, it's all jokes, right? All jokes. Eli here says 10 team, half PPR, 107 and the 207 for Horrendo and a 26 first. Love Isaac Horrendo, but I'll probably take the 107 here, especially if that 26 first is projected late. Liam says, should I trade CD for Genty and Marvin? Wow. That's a really good question. I want to poll the chat on this one. What do we think, chat? CeeDee Lamb or Genty and Marv? I think I lean Genty and Marv. Yeah, I think I lean Genty and Marv, but I want to hear everyone's opinions there. Looks like everybody is saying Genty and Marv, so... by the way, after Cam Ward, we had Luther Burden coming off the board. Then Colson Lovin, remember 20th overall to the Chargers. Great landing spot for him. Henderson falls to the 107. That's a great pick. In our previous mock, I took him at the 106. Golden goes at the 108. In the previous mock, he went at the 203. I think that makes a lot of sense to see him there. Judkins, a Houston Texans. Travis Hunter, a Cleveland Brown. And then Tyler Warren, a New York Jet. You know, it's super interesting. I can tell that the people drafting are like in our community, right? Because I can tell when people rock up to a live stream or a video and they're not a part of our community just yet and they're seeing us for the first time. Because typically they say, you're an idiot. There's no way you can take Loveland over Tyler Warren. That's just stupid. No one should be doing that. Whereas here on our channel, we've been very open to say, I think you can make a case for Tyler Warren and Colson Loveland as a tight end one. And you'll see that represented in a lot of our community mocks here. As Warren comes off the board, Amika Egbuka, Shador Sanders, Caleb Johnson at the 202. I like that pick. He's going to be a future Cleveland Brown there. Like it a lot. All right, a lot of people saying Genty Marv, so that looks like it's a safe play to make there. ATJ says, how do you feel about the second round of this rookie class? I think it could be very, very good. We talked about this on the first mock draft, but in the first mock draft, you had Matthew Golden go at the 203, and he was a first-round pick to the Commanders here. The amount of running backs in this class that you could potentially grab in round 2 that could end up having significant roles in the NFL is very enticing. I think the running back class alone is really pushing up the value of these second-round picks. And yeah, I mean, I released my updated running back rankings on the channel a couple days ago. And one of the most liked comments was that people were confused why I had so many rookies inside like the top 24. And I was more confused why people were surprised about that. I mean, I have been saying this, and everyone else that most people are watching has been saying that this class is probably going to completely change the landscape of Dynasty football for the running back position. And, you know, that just goes to show you how valuable the second round can be. Like, I could legitimately see... Let me look at my rankings before I say something stupid. But I could legitimately see 8 running backs joining the top 24 rankings after the NFL draft. I think at worst, you will get 5 that join the top 24 running back rankings. I think the max is like 10. But I think more likely is 6 to 8 running backs join the top 24 in Dynasty running back rankings. That's how good this class is, which again just makes the second round very appealing to me. All right, Cam Scottaboo, the man himself, who went to the Dallas Cowboys, went at the 206. I love that pick by WLH there. Jackson Dart off the board. Jack Besh, great pick there. Bashal Tootin off the board. We love it. We love to see it. Let's see here. Wyatt had a question. He says, 12-team Superflex. I have Murray, Love, Penix, Young, Darnold at quarterback. Guy with the 101 has A-Rich as his only quarterback. Is Young, Darnold, and the 211 for his 101 a good trade? I mean, it's a terrible trade value-wise. If you're asking me would I prefer the 101, yes, very easily. If you're asking me if that trade hit my inbox, would I accept it? No. I wouldn't even be close. I would probably be, honestly, if you want my honest opinion, Wyatt, I'd probably feel a little disrespected, and I probably would just decline it and not reply. So that's my honest opinion on the question. Nick J, I thought this was funny as well. It says Drake May throwing to Diggs is going to feed families. Yeah, I'm honestly surprised. Like, why is Drake, why is Stephon Diggs still available? Like, I know you had the ACL injury and everything, but I think he could be a serious contributor to a team still. So I was definitely surprised that like Stephon Diggs is still there, but other veterans are still out there, like Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen, for example. So, yeah, but I still think Diggs can contribute. I mean, I know he's coming off the ACL, but I still think he could. All right, we saw Jalen Noel, Elijah Arroyo coming off the board there at the end of the second round. Alec A.O. Manor, the big body receiver, then one of my favorite players in this class, Jalen Royals, coming off the board at the 302. Yeah, that's true, Michael. Very true. What's up, Jorge? Says, should I trade Scary Terry for a Dunze in the 208? My friend, I'm surprised that you're also getting the 208. It feels like the 208 should be on the opposite side at least for you to go out there and get a Roma Dunze before he breaks out with Ben Johnson. Love me some Scary Terry, but yeah, in Dynasty, that's a no-brainer. Take the Dunze side 100%. Wyatt says, what would be more fair offer then? Penix instead of Darnold? Trying to be somewhat fair, and I want the 101. Yeah, I mean, Penix would be more fair. I don't want to sell Michael Penix personally. I think he's more of a hold. But, yeah, I mean, I can't really tell you, Wyatt, off the top of my head what a fair offer is. I don't know your entire team, and yeah, that's hard to say right now. Nick says, Diggs meeting with the Pats. They better not let him leave the building. Nick says, Baker or T-Law in a second. Depends on where that second is. If it's early, I'll take T-Law. If it's late, I'll take Baker. What's up, Holden? Says, should I trade Mark Andrews for the 205 and a third? In a tight end premium, I'll probably keep Mark. But in a non-tight end premium, I think you can probably sell him for that price. Chase and Breaker says, you guys still anti-selling the 107 for Kenneth Walker and Sharps? Yeah. I would still prefer the 107 over Kenneth Walker or Sharps right now. It's close though. It's close. In round 3, we had Fannin, Giddens, Taylor, Bond, Restrepo, Martinez, Horton, Neal, Milrow, Tez Johnson, and I don't chasing. Which video are you referring to though? Remind me which video you're referring to there. I'll take the 112 over Keon Coleman pretty easily there. Yep. Greg says, if you had the 102 and the 103, would you be trying to trade the 103 for a wide receiver instead of taking Tet? I would absolutely be open to doing that. Like, if you can grab a Ladd McConkey, a Marvin Harrison, a Drake London with some of those picks, you know, it would be an easy yes if you could trade those picks for those players. What's up, Nick? Yes, I am active on the old Twitter sphere. I can send my profile here in the chat if you want to give me a follow. I say a lot of stupid things, but sometimes there's some gold in there. All right. I thought this was Rachaad White. I was like, why the fuck is Rachaad? Oh, excuse me. But it is Ricky White. I like Ricky White. Was never super high on him, but he was a fun watch. I was surprised how poorly he tested. I definitely thought he was a field stretcher, and he came out and ran like a 4.5 something at his frame was definitely a shock to me. Will Howard is a lot of people's favorite, you know, 4th to 5th round pick that could be a starter one day. Yo, is his eyes okay? Am I going crazy, or is his eyes okay? Hold on a second. Are you guys seeing? Wait. No, he's good. He's good. No, I was just trying to figure out, like. No, he's fine. He's fine. Okay. Well, that concludes the second mock draft. And I appreciate y'all for being here with me. It was fun talking to you guys. Get another mock in there. I guess some things that were different in this mock draft. Damian Martinez went a little bit higher for sure. Same with Elijah Arroyo. Scatterboo fell a little bit. Same with Caleb Johnson. Sanders somehow went in round 2. That's crazy that you can get the 3rd overall pick at the 201. Imagine walking away with Ashton Jeanty to the Bears at 10. Shedeur Sanders to the Giants at 3 in a Superflex league with your first 2 picks. That would be incredible. But yeah, really fun draft. I appreciate y'all for being a part of it. I had a lot of fun being with you. And we are going to probably transition here. And we're going to transition into looking at some people's team reviews, because we got quite a few teams to review today. Let me actually take a second and just message someone. Let me message Bishop and say, hey, man, if you want reviewed. All right. Apologies. Okay, so we are going to be reviewing some people's teams here. I'm excited to do so. I'm excited to get into the nitty gritty with some of you guys, look at your Dynasty teams and talk about how to improve them, come up with some real trades and what to do with your draft capital and that kind of thing. Okay, cool. Just making sure I have a hang of all the players all the people I'm reviewing. I actually don't even know if I have these playbooks ready. Do we have these templates ready? No, so I'm gonna have to do that as well. Sorry, gang. Give me a second. Where am I? Okay. So the first live review we're gonna do today is Rowan. Okay, let me make a template here. We've got Daddy Flock in the building. He says, "Dear God, those lights look hot." Wait, which lights? Which lights? Wait, I'm confused. I'm obviously missing the memo here. All right, so we have Rowan here, who's going to be our first review of the day. I'm going to make sure and add him into our back end. Appreciate y'all for being a little bit patient with me. It is hard to get all this going on your own. So we've got Rowan with us, which we will do first. Then after that, we will go to TTP. And I'm just going to hope that Badaki can join us before I need to do another one. All right. I appreciate y'all for being with me. That was a fun time. Chaser Breaker says, the new running back tier video you made, you had guys like Henderson, Judkins in the same tier as Kenneth Walker. Right. But keep in mind that that doesn't necessarily say that the 107... Right. Like, it's not... How do I explain this? The 107 isn't only determined by the running backs, though, right? Like, it'll depend on how many quarterbacks go round one, wide receivers going round one, tight ends going round one, and running backs going round one. So, the 107 could still be, you know, impacted, if that makes sense. All right. So, I appreciate y'all for being here with us. We are going to go ahead and transition things. It's a two-part stream. The first part was... you know, doing these rookie mock drafts. Part number 2 is reviewing people's Dynasty teams, getting their team playbook, coming up with Dynasty trades, and telling them what pathway they should take for the future. If you're out there and you're interested, you can check out the pinned comment where you can get your team playbook, which is a customized game plan for your offseason. Trade targets, we'll come up with them. We'll tell you what to do with your draft capital, understanding your league priorities. Become a land annual Mother Flocker member. You'll get a voucher, or you can go to the Flock store, regardless what promo code you're on, and purchase a team review there. Make sure if you want the review done live, you get the live tier. That's just because of the pure amount of demand that we have right now with the team playbook. So yeah, you'll see a lot of people who, you know, they submit an offline one and then they end up coming back and submitting a super chat just to upgrade it so we can make sure and prioritize their live stream review. But when you become an annual member, you get our 2025 rookie report, which is an incredible resource. I am so proud of what we were able to produce so far this year. You get the playbook, right? And what happens is when you become an annual member, you get a $79 voucher. You'll still go through the Flock store and go through the checkout the same way as someone would who's a la carte on a different promo code. For example, if you use the promo code Flock and you want to get a playbook, you can still get a playbook from us through the Flock store, right? But if you're a member, you go through the same process, but then it takes $79 off the price. So if you want an offline playbook, it becomes completely free. If you want the live playbook, I think it becomes $7 to upgrade or something like that. You also get a free trade question voucher, start sit question voucher. You unlock our complete rankings, all the premium tools and databases and draft guides and all the resources on the website are also available to you when you become an annual member. And something that goes under discussed is you'll get discounts off any future, 30% discounts off anything you purchase in the future from the Flock store with us. So I appreciate y'all for being here with us. Again, great way to support the channel and to get your team playbook. Okay, let's start with Rowan. I appreciate you, Rowan, for being here with us. Give me a second here. Let me go ahead and hide that other camera. Bang. Okay. All right, Rowan. If you're in the chat, let me know, brother. I think you're actually here. Yes. So this is a 2-quarterback. It's a 10-team, and it's a start 9. So Superflex start 9. That is meat and potatoes type of starting lineup, which kind of leans towards those superstars more than it does depth, right? You can only start 2 flexes. So the max wide receivers you could start is 4. The max running backs you could start is 4. You know, this isn't some start 11 league. And then we also have to consider that it's only a 10-man. So these premium players are going to be far more important in this format than they would be in, you know, a 12-team start 11 or whatever, right? But Rowan says, this is my third year. This is my third playbook for this team. Okay, it's a home league, and something to note is I do not actually own Lad. The Caleb Williams owners does. It's just a running joke in our league. Let me know where I should go with this pretty top-heavy squad, and should I move my future first or hold them? Well, okay, that might be confusing, but that is all good. That's good to know. So your team name is Puki Nakua, and you do not have Lad McConkey, so let's keep that in mind. It looks like you only have 2 picks this year. Good news is one of them is the 104, so it is an impact pick, if you will. But when we're looking at your wide receiver room, we have to keep in mind that you don't actually have Lad McConkey. But look, maybe we can make a trade for him and say you actually do have Lad McConkey, right? Maybe we can make that happen. We'll have to wait and see here. Okay, so you've got Josh Allen, Tua tags. Those are really your main quarterbacks in the Superflex League. At running back, you've got Hubbard, McCaffrey, Tracy. At wide receiver, we've got Neighbors, Puka, Ladd, A.J. Brown, Ayuk, Terry, Shakir, and then Trey McBride. Pretty good lineup. There's a 0.5 tight end premium there. Right now, your starting lineup would probably be Allen, Tua, Chuba, McCaffrey, Neighbors, Puka, McBride, and then we only need to start 2 other names, which would probably be A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, or Ayuk, or Tracy, Shakir. You've got plenty of depth, and this is a very good team overall. Now, running back isn't a weakness of yours necessarily. I do think McCaffrey's going to have a big bounce back season, but it's probably the weakest part of your team. Overall team grade here, I'd probably be leaning towards... This feels like a strong B+ to me. Draft capital grade, you have your first next year. You don't have any like additional picks. I'll just put like a B flat on your draft capital grade overall. What's up, Bajords? Welcome in, man. Welcome in. But yeah, pretty good team. Again, even if you remove Lad McConkey from the scenario, I definitely see this team being in the playoffs when we're thinking about a pathway. Like, I definitely see this team in the playoffs, competing, trying to win a championship. I mean, purely based off Josh Allen, Malik Neighbors, Puka Nakua, and Trey McBride alone, you're going to get carried into the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's a very, very good team. A lot of top-heavy talents here. And this is not a Thanos by any means, but we're a strong contender. We're a strong contender. You're right there in the mix. Get into the playoffs, literally anything can happen as long as your players stay healthy. Now, as far as the untouchables on this team, I'd probably put Josh Allen there, Malik Neighbors, Puka Nakua as your 3. But we can do the first 2 with Allen and Neighbors. As far as holds, I do believe Brandon Ayuk is a strong hold. I'm noticing that I am higher on him than most of the industry. So I do believe he is a strong hold. I'll go ahead and add Isaac Herendo. Considering you have McCaffrey, Herendo with Jordan Mason being traded is probably going to be the main backup on this team. Other holds, I would put Tua in the hold conversation just because you can't sell him right now. There's just no one's really giving a first-round pick for Tua right now, so that really makes me lean towards the hold side. And I'd also kind of use the same rationale for Chuba, simply because I think he's the cheapest RB1 that you can buy in Dynasty right now. When I say RB1, I mean like on their team, but he is like a top 15 fringe guy in fantasy right now. But yeah, as far as drops, you can drop like the Burtons, Thielens, Palmers if you want. Those are names that you could easily drop. I mean, you could definitely make a case for like a Sean Tucker or Will Shipley if you want to clear some space. Your waiver wire, I would definitely like to roster Miles Sanders. I think he's worth rostering. De'Ami Brown. Those are two guys that I definitely think are worth rostering if you can find the space. Good news is you don't have a lot of picks, so you should have some sort of flexibility there, if you will, in order to make some moves like that. But I think that's most of the admin stuff done. Let's go to the chalkboard here. All right, and don't have a lot of draft capital, but you have an important pick here that you can really make some noise with. At the 104, I think in an ideal world, you're adding a running back that goes early round 2 with that pick, or a Cam Ward. I think like running back or Cam Ward is probably the ideal pick there, but of course, we don't want to force it in a rookie draft. You can always trade this pick instead if you prefer to go that direction. But let's say, for example, you go Quinshon Judkins here, and he ends up going, early round 2 to a team. That could be a great option for you there. As far as the 306, it's way too early to really tell you what to do at that point. Now, the other option is we could trade for vet, because we're already in a position where, our team is in a good spot. Even without this pick, we can go out there and compete this year. So we can obviously talk about some options to trade away that pick. The difficult part is I don't really love the 104 from like a running back perspective. I think the two names that really come to mind for me would be Bucky Irving, and I'd also add Devon Achane into there. Those are the two names. Now, I think you could probably get Bucky for the 104. Achane, I think most people are going to require you to pay a little bit more. I don't think people realize, I personally believe this based off the running back rankings video I released recently. I really don't think people realize just how much of the work Bucky got from their bye week onwards in Tampa Bay. I mean, even if you go and look at the playoff games, Bucky Irving had like 21.5 touches per game in the playoffs for the Bucs, and Rachaad White was sitting at 1.5 touches per game. That's I'm not just making that up. That is true, right? They very clearly, from the bye week onwards, made Bucky Irving their guy, and Rachaad White became nothing more than a glorified third down, running back for this team. So I'm very high on Bucky. I know not everybody is, but I think he had one of the better rookie seasons in recent history for the running back position. But there are certain leagues where you can maybe get more than the 104 for Bucky. There are certain leagues where you have to pay more. So in the event that your league doesn't value Bucky the same as me, can you come out there and can we look at trying to do like a quarterback swap here? So for example, the 104 plus something for Bucky Irving and Bo Nix. Now, I don't know that you can get Tua done. No one really wants Tua. But if you were to throw like Tua and Shakir, I mean, that could probably start a conversation. Again, these are two players, Bo Nix and Bucky, that people are on very different opposite sides of it. So it depends on your league in particular. But I don't think that's a crazy trade to start off with. Rowan, okay, so the waiver wire is not open until after the draft. Understandable. Then, make sure you prioritize those guys at the draft. Rowan says Bucky Irving is very hard to make a deal with. So, yeah, maybe you can start with the 104. You can see if this type of deal intrigues him here. But, of course, you can't force it either. Let's look at the Devon Achane owner as well and see if there's any kind of wiggle room there. They have Achane and Gibbs. I really doubt they're going to be looking to move on from Achane. They don't have their first next year. But again, there's no harm in sending the offer and seeing what sort of response they might have. You could even try and like do I know a lot of people want to get off Deebo Samuel right now, so you could afford to take on Deebo Samuel as a contender and send them like a Khalil Shakir, which the majority of people in Dynasty would have Shakir clearly ahead of Deebo in ranking. So that could also work. What's up, Tiz? You can check out the pinned comment in the chat, my friend. And you can become an annual Mother Flocker member. With the promo code LAND, you'll get everything you see here on your screen, right? Rankings, team playbook. If you choose a live tier, it'll be done live as well. All the premium tools and databases and draft guides on the site. So become an annual member with the promo code LAND on the Flock site. You'll see that link in the pinned comment and in the description. But yeah, this is why I say like the 104 is a tough pick to trade when you need running back, because it's just like there's not a lot of good fits. Like, I don't feel comfortable sending the 104 for Breece Hall, for example. At least for me, it's just not something I feel comfortable with. I don't really want to send it for Jonathan Taylor or Jacobs or Kenneth Walker or Kyron Williams. I'm just not comfortable with this tier, my fourth tier of running backs. I'm not comfortable making that move, and I think that's probably the one area of your team I would prefer to improve, although I think you have plenty of depth already. Now, as far as players that I'd be looking to trade away, Tyrone Tracy at a certain price point, I could envision myself trading away. And then I don't even mind. We'll talk about Tracy as like a straight up trade, but then I don't even mind the idea of like using Shakir and a player to upgrade somewhere. Like Shakir and Tracy. I'm super curious what that combo, if we combine them together. Shakir is a lot of people, no one dislikes Shakir in any dynasty leagues at this point. So we'll have a look at what that combo could look like, because you already have an incredible amount of depth. You could even try Terry Shakir as well. So ideally, I want to do like one small trade up with this team, and then probably stick and pick at the 104 and take a running back, whether that's Caleb, Henderson, Judkins, or Hampton. If I do trade the 104, it's for a Bucky or an Achane. That's it. And then Tyrone Tracy, I mean, look, any first in any year is a no-brainer if you can net that. In most leagues, that is not going to be the case. In most leagues, you're looking at an early second. So we're saying like the 201 to the 203 range. If you can't get a pick like that, I'd rather just hold. But I am nervous. I'll extend that to the 204. I am nervous about Tyrone a little bit. I can't lie. With the amount of draft capital the Giants have, they have, I think, 9 picks this year. But yeah, okay, so we used Tyrone and Shakir. Tyrone and Shakir. I wonder what sort of level we can get to there. I kind of want to look at like more expert consensus than my rankings right now here. Okay, so let's go to Tyrone. Where does the expert consensus have Tyrone at? 18. Yeah, so I kind of like love the idea of like the Kenneth Walker, James Cook range. Right? I think that would actually be very ideal. Kenneth Walker, James Cook, you already have Chuba Hubbard. Obviously, Chase Brown, I think I'd be willing to take the risk on as well at that price. The Bengals, it feels like he's becoming a safer and safer buy, but of course, anything can happen. I don't think you can really net Kyron Williams. Wow, I'm shocked that consensus has Chase over Kyron before the draft. But yeah, let's put Kyron in there as well. Maybe that's a doable trade in some leagues then. Kyron Williams is also a potential option there for you. So again, just with Tracy having kind of a shaky valuation right now with the draft upcoming, if you can use Shakir coming off that contract to get one of these guys we feel better about, I like that idea a lot. What we can also do is I want to look for teams that are wide receiver needy and see if we can convince them in like a 2-for-1 deal. Now, they have to have someone we're interested in. Like, Tank Dell's your best player. Probably not going to be able to get a deal going here. DJ Moore is interesting. Brian Thomas is going to cost too much. Yeah, like JSN. I don't think you can turn Shakir and Terry into JSN. That might be too ambitious. How about like Rashee Rice, though? I think you could potentially look at turning that into like a Rashee Rice off the injury. I mean, you might be able even to net like a third or something on top of that. And I think you have the depth where you can wait for his, you can really wait for his suspension and all that to kind of pass. Garrett Wilson's probably too expensive. Yeah, and this is your team. The other option is to try and tier up from Tua, but as I've told many people, I just think it's a terrible time to do that. So if you want to, again, use Shakir and Tua to try and go out there and tier up, I just think it's truly an awful time to try and do that because nobody is really that interested in Tua tags. So, I mean, look, if you can move up to like a Baker Mayfield, a Brock Purdy, you know, and just get a more secure number 2 on the team. You know, those are definitely options, I would say. The Jordan Loves of the world, the Bo Nixes of the world. Those are all options. Badaki is saying DJ Moore? What are you saying, Badaki? You're saying for... I'm assuming you're saying for Terry and Shakir? I just thought that was an overpay for DJ, but if you can get a plus on top of it, we can definitely look at the DJ Moore owner. Yeah, I mean... I just don't know what the plus would be on your side. Like maybe the 301 or something. You could look at that. Yeah. But overall, I mean, that's the kind of direction I'd take your team, man. You're a contender. Let's try and find ways at the 104. If we, you know, ideally we get a Hampton, Judkins, Johnson, Henderson, and they get really good draft capital. Or you can add a Cam Ward if he goes number 1 overall, and you know you want to add a quarterback 2/3 along with Tua as you compete. I have no problem with that. Turning the 104 into a Bucky or you know an Achane, I think makes a lot of sense for your team. Would love to go ahead and turn Tracy into something more reliable. Like we said, James Cook makes a ton of sense in my opinion. You know, DJ Moore, I like as well as an idea for this team. Trying to just either pivot to get younger, but in the same tier, or try and tier up and get some more reliable players. Obviously, Tracy you can sell before the draft as well, before things get a little messy. Rowan says, the team before me at the 103 will take the best available running back, so I'd be getting the 3rd running back off the board. And yeah, obviously you don't need to... excuse me, you don't need to force running back, right? I mean, let's clarify. You do not need to force running back, even on a team like this. Like, Chuba and McCaffrey is going to be a great 1-2 punch next year already. So, if the best available player is Cam Ward or Ted McMillan or something, don't force the running back just because I'm saying that's what I would do with the pick if it doesn't make sense, right? So, you can always take Cam Ward and trade him for something that you want. Or you can do a trade after the draft. But yeah, that's the kind of direction I would take this team. Please let me know if you have any last-minute questions, anything I didn't answer well enough, or anything you want clarity on. I want to make sure you feel good about the review, Rowan. But I appreciate your constant support and efforts. Your playbook is going to be customized with everything we talked about today and sent to you within 72 hours. But I'm going to give you a second here to ask any questions that I didn't answer. And what's up, Gorilla? Badaki is, I think he's joining us soon. I don't know. He's with his child right now and doing some family stuff. What's up, Steven? In the building. Appreciate you for being here. Think I'm good. Thanks. All right, Rowan. Sounds good. I'm glad you are happy with the review. Is TT Pie in the building? Because we are looking at your team next. And, if Badaki is listening, if you can create some templates for me for the upcoming teams, that would be fantastic. All right. Appreciate everybody for being here. Stream's been really fun so far. And we're going to continue to review some people's teams and help them get better. And if you're out there and you're watching this and you want your team reviewed, it is very simple, guys. You can get your team playbook, which is a customized game plan for your offseason. You can get that by becoming a LAND, L-A-N-D promo code, annual Mother Flocker member. You'll get a voucher, right? Or you can go to the Flock store, regardless of what promo code you're on, get the team review. Just make sure you choose a live tier if you want it done live from us. And, you know, when you become an annual member, you'll get a voucher that takes $79 off the price. So a offline review is free. A live review is only $7 additional. And yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Awesome. Appreciate you, Steven. Is TT Pie in the building? Let us know if you're in the building. And let me actually refresh and let's clear and see where we are right now. Because TT is up next. Where are we at? Okay, cool. We got TT, and then after that, we're going to go to George. And then right now, ATL, Mighty, and Gameo are all offline reviews. Big Bishop will probably do tonight as well, so I can't promise George tonight. If anything, George tomorrow at worst. But anyway, let's go to TTP here next. Says, what's up, guys? I normally get my blueprints done from Domain guys, but would love a second opinion. Some insight on this league. Super hard to trade. Top quarterbacks aren't available due to way too much over cost. Okay. So it costs too much to acquire them, I assume. Saquon owner wants the 103 and Lad. Okay. Tyreek Hill owner wants the 101. Jesus. That's the type of league. Wow. Well, that's going to be a little bit obnoxious for the entirety of you being in that league. I feel for you. If someone is asking for the 101 for Tyreek Hill, you're going to be in a little bit of a tough spot there, my friend. But we will do our best. It's a 10 team, and it's a super flex start 10. Super flex start 10. We love to see that. No tight end premium. It is full PPR. Your name is Neighborhood Watch. You're ranked second in my rankings, and there is huge disparity in this league, if that's the right word. Number 10 overall has 11,000 total points of value on our site. And the first ranked player has 45,000 points of value. So clearly this is probably a home league. And I bet a lot of people joined this league, and it was their first Dynasty league. They did it with friends. Some people knew what they were doing, and they took advantage of other people. I almost guarantee that's what happened here. But let's have a look at your team. Neighborhood Watch. We've got a great amount of draft capital. My goodness. We don't have our first in 2026. That's not the end of the world as long as we can go out there and compete this year, right? But, yeah, wow. That is, that's a good amount of draft capital. I mean, you own the first 5 picks in the entire class. This will be fun to really think through how to use this capital between sticking and picking, and then maybe using some of it to get some veterans already in the NFL, right? So that will be fun to look at. All right, 10-team Superflex start 10. You've got May, Penix, Richardson. You've got Tracy, and that's pretty much it. Then Neighbors, Amon-Ra, London, Lab McConkey, Cup, Diggs, and Trey McBride. A very good baseline already, to be honest with you. Your starting lineup probably right now is May, Penix, Tracy, and let's just go ahead and say Genty because you have the 101. Neighbors, Amon-Ra, McBride, London, McConkey, and then probably Cup. And I haven't even talked about all the players you can take with the 102, 103, 104, 105. So this team is definitely in a good position. I'm a big fan of the way this team is looking. Overall team grade. Look, as much as I love the team, this isn't some A+ or anything. There's still work to do, and these rookie picks still need to hit. That doesn't always happen, right? But I'm going to say another B+. I'm going to say another solid B+. It's close to A-, honestly. And when I'm thinking about a path for this team, I think we're going out there and we're contending right now. Same thing as the previous team. We are a strong contender. Once you make these picks, you've got a great baseline that will get you into the playoffs. And you have no pick in 2026, so it makes no sense not to contend this year anyway. You're going to benefit nothing whatsoever if you don't compete this year because you don't have your first, second, or third in 2026. Draft capital grade, it's weird because you don't have your first and 26. I don't know what your 27 picks look like, but you have the first 5 picks in the draft. You can't say this isn't an A. I'd say A- range for the draft capital. And again, we are contending with this roster. Your untouchables are Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Your holds on this team: yeah, this is an interesting one. I definitely think Penix is a hold. I got him ranked quarterback 13. Most people have him towards the bottom of the teens. And then because we're contending, I almost feel like Cup makes a lot of sense to hold as well after that contract. You know, you could look at that as like a sell high. Maybe you get a mid-second round pick. But in your situation as a competing team now, I kind of think it makes sense to hold him. As far as drops on this team, my friend, why in the world is Davis Mills, Zach Wilson, Jimmy G rostered? All right, we can drop those guys easy money if we want. Jordan Whittington is a name that I'd prefer to hold on to, but if you need to drop him, you could. Your waiver wire has Miles Sanders. I definitely would pick up Miles Sanders if I were you. I don't think he's the guy, but don't think they have the guy in Dallas anyway, so he could have a role. Outside of that, I think you're Gucci there. Okay, cool. Is this Edgar? Is this your team here? Your TT Pie? Is that you? Awesome. We've done all of the admin stuff. Let's get to the chalkboard, and this is going to be fun because we can go so many different ways, and this is really going to set up your team both now and the future. I'll say the same thing I always say with someone who has a 101 and they're contending. I'm going to stick and pick Ashton Jeanty in 90% of these scenarios. The only scenarios in which I don't is if, and let's be very clear, most people are not going to give you these players for the 101. But the only way I sell the 101 is if I get Jahmyr Gibbs, is if I come out there and I get a Bijan Robinson, right? I mean, I probably wouldn't even do any of the wide receivers right now because you very clearly need to improve your running back room. So outside of that, you're just sticking and picking. There's no other scenario here, right? You're taking Jeanty. He's going to be a top 15 pick. He's going to be a locked and loaded top 3 running back in Dynasty from day one, in my opinion. Of course, I know anything's possible, but in my opinion. At the 102, again, if we're sticking and picking, there's this huge old range of players that we could consider. And that's going to go all the way down. Let's see. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's going to go all the way down pretty much throughout the entirety of your picks, right? These are all the same players that you can consider here. So let's play out a hypothetical. We grab Jeanty, we come back Hampton, we come back McMillan, excuse me. At the 104, let's say Cam Ward does go number 1 overall. So you grab Cam Ward. At the 105, who's the best player available? You know, is it Travion Henderson still? We can grab Travion Henderson at the 105. And then at the 201, we really don't need tight end help. There's no tight end premium. But, you know, Matthew Golden could make some sense. Travis Hunter could make some sense. You have an incredible opportunity to just drastically improve this team, right? So let's say this was a scenario that we ended up going with, okay? So now your starting lineup is May, Penix, or Cam Ward, right? At running back, you'd be starting Ashton Jeanty, Amarion Hampton, and then Henderson's on your bench and Tyrone Tracy becomes your 4. At wide receiver, you're starting Neighbors, Amon-Ra. You're starting Trey McBride at tight end. You're starting London McConkey. And then with one of your last flex spots, you can decide between Ted McMillan, Travis Hunter, Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, Tyrone Tracy. You know, that's already beautiful. That's absolutely incredible. Now, with your team, I do not want to maximize value, meaning tearing down from any of these picks. I don't think you need to. It's only a start 10. It's a 10-team league. I want the premium players, and you already have enough depth where we're not rebuilding. We don't really need to gain future assets right now. We can just go out there and try and contend. So really, the other option would be to trade for vets. That would really be your alternate here. Now, I've talked about the 101, but yeah, it gets a little tricky when you're thinking about the players that are valued at these picks. Badaki says I would just stick and pick for me, which is probably my preferred outcome here. But yeah, let's talk about the 102. Let's talk about the 102. All right, if you're going to trade, first off, I'm not going to trade this pick for a running back. Right? I guess the running back would be Saquon Barkley, but you've already said that the Saquon Barkley owner wanted the 103 and Ladd McConkey. So that's not going to happen, is it? Now, thinking about the 102, Drake London is typically a name that comes to mind, but you already have Drake London. Nico Collins comes to mind. But again, we really need running back. So I almost feel like we shouldn't be trading this pick for... let's switch this up. Because again, we need running back. It doesn't make sense to trade this pick for a wide receiver. Let's try and think of the 104 or the 105. Again, Bucky Irving instantly comes to mind. If you can get him for the 104 or the 105, I think that makes a ton of sense for your roster. You know, you take some risk by, drafting in this class, and then you take some security in Bucky Irving with one of these two picks. Who has Bucky Irving here, I wonder? D. Loria has Bucky Irving. And I think if they're honest with themselves, they probably could look at a one-year punt with this team. So they might be interested in cashing in on Bucky Irving. Everyone's saying to sell Bucky Irving right now in most of the Dynasty community, so that could be perfect for you. Could you grab Bucky? I almost want to try and grab Bucky and Marvin here somehow. Again, we don't need wide receiver. I need to remember that. Okay. Yeah, Bucky Irving is a fantastic option for you here. The other name would be Devon Achane, right? So let's see who has Devon Achane. That would be Howling Biscuits, who is number 1. Who? What the hell? Okay, this could actually work, though. This could actually work low-key. Because he has Jameer... Okay, what the... This guy has Daniels, Jackson, Gibbs, Bijan. That's mental. But the reason this could work is because he already has way too much running back depth. He could sell Achane for one of these picks and look at like a Ted McMillan or an Ibuka or one of these wide receivers if he loves them. So, yeah, I definitely think in your situation, I wouldn't have any pause to send away like the 103 for Achane. I'm not going to send the 102, but the 103 or the 104 for Devon Achane, I definitely would be comfortable to do as well in your situation. So let's just say, hypothetically, you sent away the 103, and then you spent the rest of these picks on all the players that we talked about, right? In that scenario, you're going to add Genty, Hampton, Achane. That's your starting 3 wide receivers there, which is crazy. Cam Ward as another quarterback in that quarterback room. Travis Hunter, Travion Henderson. That's still an incredible option for you. As far as like sell highs, I think Tracy's the only guy on this team that I'm really wanting to sell. I would say Anthony Richardson, but he's come to the point where he's more of a buy than anything. We've done these startup drafts for the last couple weeks on the stream, and for the most part, Anthony Richardson ends up being like a 9th round pick. I just don't think that you're really gonna net much return for him. As far as Tracy, like, I don't even mind if I need to use Tracy to be the reason a deal works. And when I say that, I mean, like, okay, so for example, with Bucky Irving, if you need to add Tyrone Tracy onto the deal because you said your league's a little bit, bullish, then I have no problem using Tracy as that piece with all the other picks that you have, right? If you need to add Tyrone Tracy onto that deal, like, we're totally fine to do it. If you need to add Tyrone Tracy onto any of these 101 deals, I'm totally fine to do that. If you need to add Tyrone Tracy, probably not the 103. I think the 103 is fair value, but if in this 104 deal you need to add Tyrone Tracy in there to get it done, I would be completely fine to do that. He's an expendable piece on a roster. Of course, if you can get any first in any year, you do it. But like I always say, most leagues are not going to be willing to do that. You probably would have had to done that in season when a contender was needy. But It's more like that early first range or early second range. But you're in a 10 team, aren't you? So we would even be willing to go like 203 to 206 range in the 10 team leagues. Of course, if you can get a 201, you do it. But yeah, I think it's an interesting review, Edgar, and I want to hear your opinion as I'm going here. But it's an interesting review because there's no one I really desperately want to sell. And Tyrone's really the main one that I'm okay to move on from. But for example, none of these other running backs are going to have any value at all. Like, you're not going to be able to trade them for anything. And all these wide receivers I want to build around with no picks in the future. I want to build and compete with them right now. Trey McBride I want to compete with. May and Penix I want to compete with. You know? So yeah. But Aki says, do we try and tier up at running back with the picks? I think that's what I was just doing, though. I mean, like, what other running back, Badaki, do you want to... Penix plus 105 for a stud? Oh, for a quarterback. You want to tier up for a quarterback. Yeah, I mean, the issue for me is I don't want to send Michael Penix away right now. I think he's a hold more than a sell. But yeah, I actually don't hate the idea if you use like the 105 and A-Rich. Let's play that out for a second. If you want to get a more solidified quarterback 3 or 2 in the building. For example, I think you could probably get the Bo Nix type of range plus something. And we'll explore what that plus could be here in a second. Man, like a Joe Burrow would be awesome, but you just can't get to that range here, especially with the context that you mentioned in your league, which is that the top quarterbacks are just not going to work. So Bo Nix definitely makes sense if we add a plus to our side. Wouldn't even mind the idea of like going Caleb Williams route with a plus on top. Yeah. Or even like trading back. So for example, if the Jordan Love owner, the Brock Purdy owner, if they have certain picks, we can do like a tier down as well. Let me just give me a second to really flush all this out, because there's a couple different ways we can go here. You're not going to be able to get Burrow, and I don't want to buy Pat right now. He's going to be just not worth the price. But let's flesh these two ideas out here, okay? So the Bo Nix owner, I wonder what they have on their team and how they can kind of meet us in the middle here. Okay, so they have a JT, a Ken Walker. They don't really have any picks that I'm obsessed with. We could maybe go... Yeah, that's a toughie. Is there a way for us to kind of meet them with like... No, it's just... Yeah, that's tough. Like, you have no middle ground receivers. It just drops off so far. There's no like Ayuk, Olave, Flowers, Addison that we can really use in these type of deals. It's hard to really tier up from these wide receivers that you already have. But let's try and think outside the box here. I mean, JT Walker is not a terrible idea, but that's probably going to cost too much. I think you could probably do it for Walker. Yeah. Maybe Ken Walker is the one that makes sense there. The 105 for A-Rich for Bo Nix and Ken Walker. I don't know. That's a tougher team. That Bo Nix might not work, to be honest with you, man. Let's look at Caleb Williams, though. So the Caleb Williams owner also has Brock Purdy, so we can get creative with this. So can we find our way into a like Caleb Adunze stack here? So we would do Caleb plus Rome Adunze, and then we will give you the 105 A Rich. And what do you think, guys? There's just no middle ground players on his team. What, Tyrone maybe? I mean, the let's be honest, the 105 is worth a Dunze probably equivalent. So A Rich, you're gonna have to add a significant piece here. Yeah, this might not be the way to do it with your team. The pieces just don't work out very well. You're just so top heavy at all these places. There's no middle ground players to really move off of. I just don't think that's gonna work. But the other idea I had was 105 A Rich to Purdy plus something. So that guy that we were just looking at had Brock Purdy. Okay, where the hell is Brock Purdy now? Okay, here he is. Well, would Purdy and Rome be far off? I don't think this one is as far off as the previous one. Maybe we add Tyrone Tracy into that. I think that could get you close. I can't really promise it's going to get the job done, but I think that's going to get you close. Maybe you could add a Cooper Kupp in there to seal the deal. I really wouldn't like use multiple top firsts. Yeah. All right, Jordan Love as well. I want to see what the Jordan Love owner has. Oh, this is this guy. Yeah, this isn't going to work. This guy has such a monopoly on your league. It's crazy. It's tricky, man. I'm not going to lie. Your league is tricky, Edgar. It really is. Like, with the distribution of assets, it makes trading really difficult. I mean, this guy doesn't need to do anything with any particular owner. He's already kind of dominated everybody. Then you have teams at the bottom like Smiley. They have really nothing to offer outside of like Saquon. Yeah, 100%. You have to hope someone has love for A Rich. This is one of the more tougher reviews for sure. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I kind of agree with Badaki in the sense that, like, I think the best outcome is sticking and picking with most of these picks. You know, I've seen quite a few people who have decent like ideas here, right? Like Jay Ganja's idea is actually pretty good, so I'll add that as well. But the only reason I am hesitant on that is because we've already had Edgar come out and say that you can't really trade for top quarterbacks in this league. So that's my only hesitancy there. But I'm going to go ahead and agree with Jay Ganja here that if you can get a deal like that done, the 105, the 201, and A-Rich for Hurts, I think that's a really ideal scenario as well. Joe Burrow, right? But again, you've said in the context that it's really difficult to get top-end quarterbacks. But yeah, anytime you're in a league where the Saquon owner wants the 103 and Lad, the Tyreek Hill owner wants the 101, it's just... you're going to find it difficult to get deals done, which again really makes me lean towards like let's take the draft and give what it takes us, right? Or take what it gives us. And the good news is really the main needs of your team at running back are a highlight in this class. So yeah, that's a good thing to remember. Edgar, please let me know if I've helped you. Let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything at all that I can answer that I haven't. I want you to feel good about this review. I want you to feel like you got your money's worth. So it's your time to shine, my friend. Edgar says, I just sold him Walker, JT, and Monty. So what did you sell Walker, JT, and Monty for? I'm curious. I agree, Chasing. The economy of this league is strange for sure. Yeah. Appreciate you, Oliver. Very kind of you, man. But yeah, honestly, all of the answers that you have are kind of in this, or all the holes that you have, the answers are already in this draft, right? You need 2 running backs that you can start this year. That's in this class, if not 3. You need a quarterback 3 for assurances. That's Cam Ward. You know, you could use maybe another flex at wide receiver. I mean, you've got all the answers in this class already. But yeah, man, please let me know if I didn't answer anything well enough, or if you had any last minute questions. I want to make sure, again, that you feel really good about the review and you feel confident that you've got some actionable advice that you can go and exploit both now and during the NFL draft itself in your league. But yeah, while we're waiting on Edgar, if you guys are out there and want your team reviewed, you can get your team playbook, which is a customized game plan. We kind of send this to you 72 hours after your review is done. Then you can become a Land annual Flocker member, annual Mother Flocker member, rather. Or you can go to the or you can go to the Flock store, regardless what promo code you're on, and get a team review there. Just make sure you get the live tier if you want it done live. And you get a you do get a free voucher, by the way, when you sign up for an annual member. I am tired, man. It's been I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it has been a really stressful last 3 or 4 weeks, both personal stuff and business stuff. A lot of exciting things upcoming, but the amount of meetings we've had with our company for the past like 2 weeks, it's probably more than we've had in like the past year. It's crazy, but it's all really exciting stuff. It's just a lot. So I am fried, but I'm hanging in here. Yes, big things coming for sure. Big things coming for sure. Yes, very positive. Yeah, I mean, let me just say this. I can't say anything, but we got something cooking in the back end right now. I think the last time I was this excited about a potential partnership, and we'll see if it works out, right? There's a lot of verbal agreements, but we need to kind of get everything hashed out. Last time I was this excited about something was when we decided to join Flock Fantasy. And that was back in March of 2023. And that was a great decision. I'm so proud of being a part of that site and helping it grow and, you know, contributing and being a part of the team. So the things that we have in the works, yeah, I think it's the most exciting thing we will do since March 2023 when we joined Flock from the ground up with the website. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. Okay. Badaki's excited about it too. You can see this. Appreciate you, Gorilla. Okay, Edgar. Any last minute questions there, Edgar? Chris says, my guess is the economy is tough because of the big difference in value between top and bottom teams. Yes, 100%. 100%. No, this is 100% it. You know, teams have done shitty trades and they put their team into the dirt. And now, and I'm in leagues like this where I'm the guy at the top of the league, where it's like, yeah, I mean, I made some great trades. People made some shitty trades, and I've been in the opposite side of it as well. So these type of leagues, it is definitely possible to build out of, but it makes trading a little bit more difficult. Yes, we are taking over the Giants front office. That's correct. That is the breaking news. Brizzleton says #1 fantasy podcast. I appreciate it. Okay, Edger says appreciate you, Brizzleton. Walker, I got the 2-1 and the 101 for T. Higgins, JT, and Monty. Okay. 10-team league, so that's really like the 111 for Ken Walker. I've seen those guys get traded for more, is what I'll say, but yeah, Higgins and JT, that's a big old price to pay, but JT could definitely be worth it, man. Sammy, no. I mean, we've had people do this before where people have submitted a team of a league we're in, and it's been fun. Like those reviews are fun because we try and come up with ideas for us to make a trade with you as well. And then it's fun because the chat will either roast us if we are not giving you a fair deal, or they will be like, yeah, that's a good deal. And sometimes we've gotten deals done live as well. And I know you and I are negotiating different trades in that league as well. But Aki says, love the support, fam. Sorry I'm not here. My wife said she had a hair appointment that would be 1.5 hours. And now it's been 5 hours. Oh my gosh. That's funny. But anyway, Edgar, man, we appreciate you big time, my friend. I mean, I will be honest. Honesty is what you always get here. Your league is a little bit cooked in the sense of like trying to get deals done because of just the power of balance. The balance of power. Holy hell. My mind is a scrambled egg. Okay. But I am going to move on to the next team. And I will be looking out for your comments there, Edgar. I want to make sure you feel good about this, but you will get your team playbook within 72 hours. It will be completely customized to everything that we talked about today. But overall, in summation, I think you stick and pick with most of these picks, and you go out there and compete this year. You've got a great squad. All right. We do have Bishop here, Lucas Bishop, and we're going to get to his review next. This is Big Bishop. That's you, right? I want to make sure your YouTube name and your Discord name are the same. That's you, right, Bish? Okay, let's do it then. Do I have a template for your chalkboard? I do. Beautiful. All right, we got a big boy league here. In fact, let's stand up for this one. All right, let's get a little stretch going on. You know, anybody out there working from a desk, you know, you can't just be sitting all day. It's terrible for you. So we gotta, you know, get the system moving a little bit, stand up, get the blood flowing. All right, big boy league here. It's a super flex, 12 team, start 11. That is rolling deep starting lineup. All right, that's a big boy starting lineup. You can start up to 6 receivers in a league like this. It's a PPR format, and there is a full point premium on the tight end position. Your team is the Voldemorts. Now, I don't watch... I've never watched Harry Potter. I'm sorry. My wife always wants me to, and I need to be a better husband, I guess, is the takeaway. But you put in the chat that you said I sold out last year as it's a 250 big money league, so I have none of my own draft picks. I can't decide if I should go all in or not with this year again, or what I should do. Need help. Also hard to trade in this league since it's a big money league. People really value players. Okay. No, I've never watched Harry Potter. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. All right. Oh, it's an office themed league. Wait, I know The Office. What does Voldemort have to do with The Office? Or are you just saying like your office with your friends? Okay, so you are currently ranked 3rd overall in my rankings. You got 2 big dogs here, but their teams aren't overwhelmingly good. Okay, so we've got in a Superflex league, we've got Josh Allen, Michael Penix, the ghost of Kirk Cousins haunting your squad. Maybe Jameis Winston starts for the Giants. That would be great for you. You've also got Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones. Yikes. Okay. Wow, in a start 11, this is going to be tough, but all right. Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Brian Thomas, Puka Nacua, Sam Laporta. Now, we still need to flex 4 names. And the 4 names are going to be Addison, Sutton, Jennings, Ingram. And the good news for you, I'll give you glass half full for a second, is that when Evan Ingram left the Jags, you got potentially 2 starters because of Brenton Strange being on your squad. So that is the glass half full take on this team. My buddy said it would be a good idea. Jim says it in the episode. Wow, like I am like a huge Office fan, and Voldemort, I can't think of when he said Voldemort. That's crazy. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm the movie guy, and I haven't watched Harry Potter. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. You're a wizard, Harry. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, I have no idea whatsoever. Okay, so this team's in a weird spot, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. This team's in a really weird spot. I can really see this going belly up quickly. I mean, your quarterback room is fine. Your tight end room is fine. But there are so many question marks at running back and wide receiver, especially in a start 11, a deep start 11 league. Aaron Jones with Jordan Mason there, I don't know exactly what you're going to get on a week-to-week basis. He did sign the 2-year extension. You should feel good about that. Alvin Kamara, these are 2 guys that, you know, just proven production year after year after year. But as we all know, time comes for all man, and at any point, these guys could completely tank their values, right? They're part of that class with Zeke and Dalvin Cook. These guys who have just fallen off, right? At the wide receiver position, you're in a good spot if Courtland Sutton and Juwan Jennings retain similar roles to what they had last year. Wow, this is such a really interesting team. Oh, this is such an interesting team. Lucas says, super on the fence of tear it down or punt. This is tough because I do think, Lucas, that with this team, you could probably make the playoffs. Right? Josh Allen, Brian Thomas, Puka, Laporta, Ingram in a full point premium, Kamara if he stays healthy. I think that's enough to propel you into the playoffs. And as we know, any team can win the playoffs. There's a lot of luck in the playoffs of Dynasty and fantasy football. And man, like if Jameis Winston signs with the Giants, that feels even better. But your running back room is like holding on by a thread. What is that meme of the backpack where it's like there's just like just holding on by the tiniest little thread? That's your running back room right now. I think there's 2 ways you can go. Option 1 is we sell our 26th first and second round pick to add a running back or 2. That is option 1. And I truly think you can compete. I truly think you'll be in the playoffs. And then we can look at tearing down, like Fig said here. It's a great idea as well, where we can look to tear down from a Laporta potentially, a Josh Allen maybe. That's option 1. Option 2 is we completely hit the reset button, and we sell Josh Allen for the biggest haul you've ever seen in your life. We sell Alvin Kamara and Aaron Jones in season. We sell the Suttons, the Jennings, the Ingrams. And then we still have a good baseline of Penix, Brian, Puka to build around long term. So those are your 2 options. So right now you're sitting at an in or out. And rather than exploring those 2 options, I would rather ask you, where do you want to take this team, Lucas? Because I really think that you can send your 26th first and second round pick away to get a running back and 1 more depth piece. And I do think you can compete. I do think you'll probably make the playoffs. But at some point, the team is probably going to need to be rebuilt purely because of the running back room that you currently have. And I certainly couldn't guarantee that you're a favorite to win in the playoffs. So which kind of direction do you want to, which one do you want to chase right now? Do you want to chase a full rebuild right now here on stream, or do you want to chase a contending path? You know, well, I want to know what Lucas wants to do here. Take Ron Weasley at the 409. Cade says he wants to rebuild this team. A lot of people are saying they want to rebuild. Lucas says it's $250 league, so it's hard to do a whole rebuild. Let's try contending. Okay, and that's why I wanted to ask you that, because again, $250. You know, that's not that's not child's play. That's what, 12 teams, right? That's big time money. You don't want to burn $250, right? I mean, that's a $3,000 prize pool. So let's look at the option of contending. And I will say this. I'm confident that if Josh Allen, Puka, and Brian and Laporta stay healthy, I'm confident that you will make the playoffs. Assuming Aaron Jones doesn't die or something. Okay? And I get it. Like, so we'll call this windows open then. And this is actually the perfect example. This is an older team that you want to take advantage now with the running back room that you have. So, let's have a geese, shall we? The 409, let's be honest, true BPA means absolutely nothing to us. We have no idea what that will do. Now, your 2026 first round pick, we will explore what we can get for that. Or your 2026 second round pick, we can explore what you can get for that. The other option, if you want to go out there and compete, is a tear down from Sam Laporta. We still want to stay in a range where we're comfortable, but you know, in a full premium, maybe we can get some value there. I don't really want to tear down from Brian or Puka, but I also think we could tear down from Allen and still compete in a big old start 11. So let's kind of explore this option here. All right, and these are the main 4 things I think we're going to be looking at today with your review. Now, let's go through some admin stuff. Your untouchables on this team would be Brian Thomas, and I'm going to say Puka just because Allen is clearly the most valuable player on your team, but we're probably going to look at what it would look like to tear down from him to put yourself in a better spot. Now, the holds on this team, I would say Britton Strange, very strong hold in the tight end premium. No doubts about it. I'd also go ahead and say Jameis Winston because there's a chance. In fact, is it not all of our dreams right now? If you own Malik Neighbors, are you not dreaming every night thinking about Jameis Winston throwing him the ball 150 times next year? So yeah, we'll put Jameis Winston on the holds list as well for this team. I'm going to add Juwan Jennings there because, again, he should step into a bigger opportunity this year without Deebo Samuel. And then the last hold, I don't really have another name I have a lot of conviction on, to be honest with you. So I'll just say like Troy Franklin because I do like the player. Just probably won't ever develop into anything. Your waiver wire is cooked, man. Your waiver wire is butt-ass naked. As far as drops, I'm going to tell you players that you can confidently drop if you wanted to. But obviously, with your league being so heavy on the roster side and so weak on the waiver wire, you don't need to make any of these moves. But you could very easily drop Tim Patrick, Justin Watson, Blackshear, Watson, DeMarcado, Lucas Kroll, Hudson. Like, these guys are all very droppable if you wanted to make those moves, right? You don't have to. I love how many people are with us right now with this review. Like, everyone is helping every team out as well. I love this. Okay. All right. So, yeah. I think we've done most admin stuff. Overall team grade, I'm going to go probably around like a B flat. Draft capital grade, I got to be a little harsh because you don't have any picks this year. We'll say more like a C flat. All right. I want to start with the Josh Allen tear down because that could really fundamentally change everything. Now, KTC is a platform that we use as a weapon. I guess as a resource, but we really use it as a weapon to try and take advantage of, right? So what I'd like to do is just kind of see how their tiers are kind of laid out. So, you know, if we go to Burrow, sure, we could maybe do something. I think like Knicks is a good tier down. We don't want to go too far. So I think we're going to try like a Knicks Herbert. Yeah, I think we're going to try Knicks Herbert, and then maybe even like a Brock, because we can see how much we can really extract off of all these. Okay, so these are our options right now. Let's look at these teams and decide what we can do here. So who has Brother Bo on this squad? So Bo Nix is currently owned by Philly Goddard, and they have Jalen Hurts and Bo Nix. And wow. So this is actually, wow, this could actually work. Hold on a damn second. This guy's got more than enough quarterback play, but he could use an upgrade, a true upgrade, and he's got 5 running backs in the top 12 of my rankings. I'm thinking like Knicks, Achane, and then something else. Bo Nix, Devon Achane, and what do you think, guys? What could we sneak in there? You could probably sneak in a Ricky. Am I underselling Josh Allen in doing that? Huh. I don't know if this is underselling Josh Allen in doing this. Let me think about this for a second. But the obvious thing that will put this over the top is another one of these running backs, like a James Cook. So a Knicks Achane Cook is enough for me to say goodbye to Josh. In your situation, a deep old start 11. Yeah, I think this is doable because I'm just remembering a lot of people don't like Bo Nix. Let me test this out. Just see if we can use KTC as a weapon here for a second. Josh Allen for Knicks. We want Achane, and we want Cook. Now, I assumed KTC was going to say this is too much because they're not good at valuing top-end players. But if we go to the Flock Fantasy Trade Calculator, I have a feeling this is going to say more of an even trade because our calculator is just far better at actually evaluating top-end Tier 1, A1 sauce type talents like these Allens, Jeffersons, Chases. So let's use expert consensus here. You had a super flex, but you have a flex 4, don't you? What was your lineup? Yeah, flex 4. Okay. Let's use those settings. So Josh Allen. All right. And then we are going to come back with Bo Nix. We're going to come back with Devon Achane. And we want James Cook. I think this is going to be more of an even type of deal on our site. So it says fair trade. Tell me I don't do this every day. Tell me I don't do this every day. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. And I really don't think I'd be willing to do this for Chase Brown, but I could also do this for Ken Walker. And look, Chase Brown could easily be a league winner. If you're moving off Josh Allen, I need to know for certain that the guy I'm about to buy is going to be the starting running back with certainty. And I feel that way about Cook and Walker. And I will say, of course, Breece Hall, if you can do it. But I doubt that is really possible. But I'm kind of obsessed with these two deals. I think that puts you in a position where you're going to still compete this year. But you get younger. You can extend this window another 3 or 4 years. So I kind of love that a lot. Lucas says, big Bronco fan. I got screwed last year. I had the 201 and he went at the 113 with the winner of the toilet bowl. That is devastating. Absolutely devastating. Okay, let's look at a Justin Herbert move. Okay, so who has Mr. Herbert? Who's got Justin? Justin, show you off. Okay. Okay. This might not work. It'd have to be like Herbert. 103. I just don't think this guy is looking at his team and thinking, yeah, I'm in a position to tier up. Like, he's got Christian Kirk as his wide receiver 3. I'm not so certain this one's really going to work out. It'd have to be like Herbert, Taylor, 103. And yeah, I just don't think that's going to work. So I think Nix is probably your best option that we've looked at so far. But the further we go down now to a Brock Purdy, the more we can extract out of a deal. So Purdy should give you a ridiculous haul if they have... What did you guys do to this guy? What did you guys do to this team? This poor guy. This poor man is just... Bless his heart. All right, let's see if there's any other options here. Teams that have enough to kind of tier up or down. Probably not there. We're not going to tear down to Geno. Jordan Love, okay, like a Love Gibbs would definitely do it. So let's throw that out there as well. That would definitely do it. In fact, I mean, yeah, I don't think that's unrealistic either for a Jared Goff move. I don't know if that guy's really going to be interested in it, but it would work for us. Burrow Young. If you could grab like a Burrow, can we get Burrow 104 and then send away? Could you send away Addison and do that? Could you send away Josh Allen and Jordan Addison? I just don't think this really isn't solving any issue for us though. We're just losing a flex. Yeah, this isn't really going to work. Burrow is, you just can't go that high because you're not going to get the return that you need. Yeah, Burrow's not going to work. Let's be honest. You could go down to a May, but the issue is this guy doesn't have the assets to really make this interesting. Like you could do like May 106. It's just, I don't think that works. I think in an ideal world, you either go Love or Nix in a tier down. And I think that would really put you in a great position. These two Nix trades are money if you can get one of them done. Laporta, we can't afford to tier down from Laporta because we have Ingram already. So, like Njoku is a fine tier down option. But the issue is that guy has Saquon and Bijan, so it's, I mean, what are we really going to do? There's no wiggle there. Okay, let's go down here. This guy has Cole Kmet. And, oh, this poor guy. Okay, Michael Mayer. Could we get like a 111 Rice or something? A full point premium. The 111 plus Rashee Rice, and maybe we send Laporta and Sutton. Am I underselling Laporta here, maybe? In a full point premium? I'm just curious what this would look like. What did I say? 111 and Rice. Okay, yeah, maybe I am underselling him. So can you... I mean, that would be honestly beautiful. You can definitely start Ingram and Brenton Strange. That's gonna give you flexibility to use a 111 on a running back, improve your depth a little bit, or you can use that 111 on like a Loveland or a Warren if they fall, but they probably won't in your format. But that could be an option for sure. We really want to find someone who has a running back. Okay, how about tearing down to like a Kittle? It's like a Kittle. Oh, I really want Bucky, but you just don't have the assets to get there. Like, no one's going to do Kittle Bucky for Laporta. And you just have such limited flexibility with the assets you have as well. Like, you have no middle grounds here. Well, I mean, could we throw Aaron Jones? Maybe I am underestimating. Okay, so could we throw... So who do we want? We wanted Kittle plus Bucky. Can we throw Laporta and Aaron Jones their way? Can we throw Laporta or Alvin Kamara their way? Kamara might be overpaying. But you could also try and get like the Chuba Hubbard range. I think you could probably sell Laporta for Kittle and Hubbard, actually, which is better than losing Kamara. So let's say Kittle and Hubbard, worst case scenario there. That makes a lot of sense for you. Dalton Kincaid, this guy has Christian McCaffrey, but there's just no one to really make this work. Those are your main options there, I'd say. All right, if we want to sell our first, let's look for a team that is very obviously rebuilding. And let's see if they have any assets at all that we can... Okay, so this guy's name is 25 draft class. Do you have any running backs that are nice? No, of course you don't. Your team's dog shit. All right, who else? Why does this guy have like 70% of your league's draft picks? All right, let's keep looking. Well, you have Christian McCaffrey there. This guy's got to know that he's close to a rebuild, right? I mean, you could send your first for like a Jacobs. Could you do like Jacobs Mixon and then send like... Ah, no, that's tough. Jacobs is close. Jacobs is close for sure. Okay, well, yeah, we'll send our first for Jonathan Taylor for sure. We'll definitely do that. Breece Hall, you know, again, like all these names, just to kind of cover our bases here. That's kind of like my tier 4 in my rankings. Right, so the JTs, Breeces, those two I definitely would. Jacobs, I wouldn't be opposed, but could you try and like do a pick swap in there where you get a second and then you send a future third? Add a pick swap into there and get that one done. I'd say the same thing. Those are the three guys I think really I would want to do that with. And this guy has a ton of... Like, Breece has got to be an option there with that guy. He's got so many running backs. Yeah. Those are your options there. With the second rounders, you can go more veterans. Right? So we're thinking like the James Connors, the Najee Harrises. Even though I'm not huge on Najee, I think you could afford to take on that risk. You know, those kind of players in that range. But yeah, man, this is if you get one of those Bo Nix deals done, then you are you're cooking. You're cooking with gas at that point. I love the Rashee Rice deal that we cooked up. Obviously, I think this Laporta deal for Chuba Hubbard is maybe the most ideal deal out there. Say deal 3 times fast. But those are a bunch of options. I want to hear your thoughts, Lucas. Please let me know if you have any questions. Anything I didn't cover well enough or in depth enough, I am here to help. Lucas says, I traded with the Burrow guy last year. I sent Higgins and Burrow for Puka and Allen. He asked me if I still wanted Bucky. Then say, yes, please. Yeah, we probably want to keep Kamara on the contender. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I'll wait for Lucas, see if he has any other questions here. But if you guys are out there watching this, Lucas is about to get his playbook within 72 hours. It will be completely customized to everything that we just talked about today. And, you know, if you guys are out there and you're watching, you want your playbook, it's a customized game plan for your offseason. I'll come up with individual trade targets for your team, what to do with your draft capital. Then all you need to do is become a Land Annual Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND right on the Flock site. Or you can go to the Flock store and purchase one a la carte, regardless of what promo code you're on. Just make sure you get it done live. You know, you choose live tier if you want it done live. If you prefer offline, then, you know, you can get the offline tier as well. Everyone has different preferences. And, yeah, whatever floats your boat, whatever tickles that pickle. Lucas says this was great. Gave me a lot of ideas. Very appreciative. Fantastic. I love to hear that. I love knowing that we have made a impact on your teams, guys. Appreciate that big time. All right. So Lucas is done. I still need to record a video, but I think I've got one more in me. ATJ's done. ATL, Boosh, and Game are offline. We'll do those tomorrow morning offline. I think I've got one more in me, which is George. I think I've got a George review in me, okay? But again, tomorrow's stream is going to be completely dedicated to team reviews and live streaming them, okay? So if you guys are out there and you're like, okay, is it a good time to submit? Well, tomorrow, that's exactly the only thing we'll be doing on the stream. So, yes, very good time to submit to get yourself in that queue. Alrighty. Appreciate that, Caden. Very kind. Would you trade Rashee Rice for the 102? I love Rashee Rice, but yeah, I'd trade it for the 102. All right, let's get to this last review of the day. Georgie. I hate horror movies. Hate them. Really, I hate them. And I think the most recent horror movie I watched was It, and I was just like grossed out. I don't know what's wrong with me, man. I like if you got a thriller in mind for me, I feel like I've seen every thriller ever made at this point. But thrillers are like, oh, that's a great time. That's like that's maybe my favorite genre. But horror, I can't do it, man. You know, you call me whatever names you want. I don't care. I cannot do it. I can't spend time making myself feel like I'm going to shit myself. All right. It just doesn't make sense. All right. It's not worth the payoff. Why did I talk about that? Because your name is George. Georgie. Okay. Here we go. It's a 12-team start 9. So we've got a meat and potatoes lineup here. All right. So the obviously starting lineup is very important. Depth does not matter as much in this type of format here. He says, hey guys, love the content. Keep it up. Last year, team overperformed and placed 5th. Need receiver help, but I've made some offseason moves for capital. Bucky for the 105 and the 212. George. You're going to break my heart, man. You're going to break my heart right now on this live stream, George. Okay, Russ, 209, 212 for the 112 and 3rd. I like that. The 305, 408, and the 3rd for the 202. I like that as well. It's Gorilla in y'all's live chat. I love it. I appreciate you for being here with us. Your team name is Obi-Wan Skywalker, which puts you 9th out of 12 in my rankings currently. And let's have a look at the squad. You have some draft capital, which I will take into account here as we review the team. And we'll make sure and consider all this, right? Just quickly, some questions in the chat there. Matthew says, Bree and I will have a Dynasty Land booth at our wedding celebration. Most of the fam and guests play fantasy football, so everyone can do trades and whatnot. That is actually awesome. That idea is incredible. So, yeah, I want to see that outworked. But, hey, when are you guys getting married? Congratulations. That's awesome. Lucas says, just got offered the 101 and the 407 for Puka. I wouldn't go that route. I wouldn't be selling Puka. I'd rather just hold Puka because with your team, man, that we just reviewed, if you sell Puka, you're just creating another problem in a start 11. It's more about tearing down from those options that we had. But I don't like the idea of a Puka deal. All right. Yeah, the distance might be the biggest problem there, Matthew. Yeah, that flight is hell. 15 hours to LA, and then it's more like 21 hours to the East Coast, New York. But okay, we've got some capital here. Yeah, definitely live stream it. Okay, we've got some capital here, and I'm going to make sure that we have this available to us as we go through the review. Good amount of picks there. 3 first-rounders. All right, the team is Bryce Young, Justin Fields, Anthony Richardson, Bijan Walker, Wilson, Pickens, Pittman, Mark in a non-tight end premium, and Strange. So, Bijan Robinson's clearly the best player on your team. Wide receiver room is tough, man. And the quarterback room is in rough shape. I mean, to be honest, like, this entire team is definitely... I would say they're, how do I say it? Like, they're probably not competing this year. A lot would have to go right. I mean, your starting lineup right now is Bryce Young, Justin Fields. We don't know how long Justin will keep his job. Maybe A-Rich wins his job. Bijan, Kin, Wilson, and then your number 2 is Pickens. That's tough. He's not even the number 1 on his team anymore. Mark. And then we still need to start 2 players. And I'm guessing that's going to be Pittman. And I just don't know who else that would be. Now, you have some draft capital, which is good. But this team would look better with Bucky. The flex would definitely be more palpable. Yeah. I'm really trying to think about this one. I kind of feel like this is a 1-year punt to me. This feels like a 1-year punt. I want to know what the chat thinks, but you know, even those draft picks, they kind of have to hit for you to really go out there and compete this year. I'm gonna lean 1-year punt, and then if you're like in the middle of the season and you're competing and you're winning games, then I think you can probably think about, you know, changing your mindset. But I imagine this is more of a punt than a compete right now. So yeah, we'll talk about that. Overall team grade, I would probably, if I'm honest, I'd probably lean like a C+. Draft capital grade is more like an A-, pretty decent. So that's good. You have that to look forward to. The untouchables on your team are Bijan and your future first-round pick. Now, there is a scenario in which we trade Bijan. And that scenario is we get just a deal we can't say no to as a 1-year punt. Right? Like someone sends you like Bucky Irving and 2 firsts or something. Or, you know, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. As far as the holds on this team, I'm going to say Strange is a great hold. Bryce Young is a great hold. Yeah. As far as the drops, I mean, you got plenty of options here. You can drop Mechie, Thrash, McCormick if you wanted to. You could probably drop Tyler Higbee in a non-tight end premium if you want to clear space for picks. Oh, wow. Jalen Coker's on the waiver wire. Let's definitely pick him up. Jalen Coker would be my priority pickup. I would prefer Jalen Coker over... Yeah. Pretty much everyone outside of your top 3 receivers. So yeah, I'd prefer Coker over all those guys that are currently highlighted. The other name you could prioritize is like Elijah Mitchell to sell him in season if he gets a role with the Chiefs. Says, forgot to mention the league is pretty much checks every trade on KTC. Okay, perfect. That is perfect. Yeah, after the draft, just make sure you prioritize Jalen there. I love leagues like that. All right. This is all very good information to have. I'm losing my mind. I gave you a team grade, right? Yeah. Yeah. We went through untouchables. Yes, we went through all the admin stuff. We are 1-year punt. We went through all the admin stuff. Okay. Let's head over to the chalkboard here. I think before we talk about draft capital, let's talk about guys that we probably want to sell as we're punting. So, for example, like Justin Fields is an ideal sell in season. I would say A-Rich, same thing in season. Pickens might be more of a hold than anything right now. I would say these guys are definitely like in-season sells. I'm going to say like if they recover value. Pickens, Pittman, and then probably Mark as well would be in that category. Walker's interesting, right? In a full rebuild, I'd probably sell him. But in a one-year punt, I might not be that bullish on selling him. Yeah. I might be willing to hold on to Walker there. Obviously, if the right offer comes your way, you don't have to be hesitant there. But stick and pick. The fact that we're doing a one-year punt means we don't need to think about any positions. And when I say that, I mean, you know, if you have this feeling that, oh, I need a running back, but the best player available is quarterback or wide receiver, it doesn't matter right now in a one-year punt. You don't need your roster to look any particular way. You just need to have the most valuable pieces across the board possible. So in every trade that we make, we care less about names and more about value. How much value can I get overall? If you really, really love, let's say, Emeka Egbuka, but there's a round 2 running back on the board, you go the round 2 running back. You know, if you want to go running back, but wide receivers are clear best value, you go wide receiver. You do not force a position with this team. My throat's hurting now. But you're going to be in this range, right? Like Hampton McMillan's probably not there, but I can't rule it out. So you're probably in like this Ward, Burden, Henderson, Judkins, Johnson range, and who ends up being the best value is the player that you should draft there. At the 108, there's a good chance that Burden can fall this late. One of those other running backs, Shador Sanders, could be in this range. The 112, let's see. The 112, we got Caleb Johnson, Shador Sanders, Egbuka, Loveland. All these guys, it'll come down to draft capital. Who ends up actually being the best player for you to draft there, pretty much across the board. But what you would have access to, I think you purchased one a la carte. But if you're a member with us or on a different promo code, you will have access to our rookie report when the draft finishes, which has our updated rankings and everything and our big board and all that. But let's just say hypothetically, right? You walked away from this draft and you took Cam Ward because he went number 1 overall, hypothetically. Then you came back and Judkins was the best available player, and at the 112 it was Egbuka. At the 202 it just happened to be DJ Giddens hypothetically, and then Samson. It's not a bad haul whatsoever. It puts you in a position where you're positioned next year to have way less holes on the roster, right? You'd add a true quarterback to compete with the Youngs and the Fields on your team. You could sell Justin Fields easier. Judkins, Samson would be a great duo with Bijan and Walker. You could look at selling Walker in season if you wanted to, if Judkins takes off. Egbuka is a much needed piece to this wide receiver room. Maybe you focus more on like the Goldens and the Ibukas with those late firsts, as long as you're not like forcing it, right? Gorilla says, have it under good info that Ward, Tet, and Ginty are going in the first 3 picks. Give me like 3 seconds. I'm going to get a cough drop. I apologize. I am back and happy to report that this stream is officially brought to you by Vicks Vapor Drops. Go to your local Kroger's today. Okay. Bad joke. Okay. Yeah. So obviously not a bad outcome, right? And to be honest, with the idea of like 1 year punting this, I really don't see the rationale behind trading these picks for players. I think you'd rather just take as many shots at the dartboard as you possibly can, considering we're looking to punt 1 year. Justin Fields. Obviously, you can get any first in any year. You take it. But more realistic is like the early second. Like, let's say 201 to 204 range. You already have the 202. Anthony Richardson, honestly, I would say the same exact thing. Right? If you can get any first in any year, it's a no-brainer. But more likely, these guys are kind of valued right around each other. You're going to get an early second. Now, there's a scenario here where you can hold on to these 4 names, or these 2 names, and wait till end season. And if A-Rich wins the job and he's, a fringe top 10 guy, you could definitely get a first round pick for him. If Fields comes out the gate, and he's a fringe top 10 guy, you could definitely look at a potential first for him as well. George Pickens in season, and let's just quickly look if there's any teams that desperately need quarterbacks that could be a good fit for you. Okay, so this team could work, but I'm not 100% sure they're competing. They're probably aware their team is pretty rough. But sure, if you can get Bed Bath & Beyond's first round pick, I have no problem with that. I mean, could you even sell them like... could we add like Michael Pittman into the deal or something? Right? So let's think about that logistically. We'll send you A-Rich plus Michael Pittman. And we want your, let's say 2027 first round pick or 2026. And what was that guy's name? It was Bed Bath & Beyond. So you can't get a first for A-Rich, but if you package him with Pittman, maybe you would be able to from a quarterback needy team. This guy's got Caleb and Aaron Rodgers. Can you find a way to get that 109, that same package? Right? Is that a possibility to get the 2025 109? People in your league who believe in A-Rich would certainly be open to exploring that idea. Unfortunately, the rest of these guys probably have enough to really be comfortable with. Maybe the Sam Darnold owner. The issue is they have no firsts either. Yeah, so, I mean, you could try for their 27 first, but there's not much really to write down logistically there. The rest of these guys are going to have enough quarterback play to feel pretty comfortable. Well, again, this guy's got no firsts. So, I mean, you could try and send, like, Fields away for an Addison. If you wanted to look at that as well. Let's say Justin Fields. You could try and send away for Jordan Addison. Maybe you need to send a small piece as well to get a deal like that done. The same thing for A-Rich. Again, you're kind of just taking an asset that is probably going to retain its value. Jordan Addison, we've seen multiple years be a successful wide receiver too. So you're kind of betting on that as you're rebuilding. You're taking less of a gamble to have an asset that is going to be valuable next year. Fields and A-Rich could go literally anyway. In season with Pickens, look, at this point, I really don't see a scenario where you get a future first for him. You can either try and get like the 202 to the 204 now, or in season, you can see if you can get multiple, seconds. Michael Pittman, I would say a mid-second in any year is doable. And it's a 12 team. There's no premium, but it is a start 9. So Mark, I think, again, a mid-second in a year is fine as well. Let's say you sell Pittman, you add a second-round pick. You sell Pickens, you get the 202 this year. You move from a Richard Fields to a Jordan Addison level player, a Zay Flowers level player. You kind of getting these assets that next year you can kind of start to build around as well. Or maybe you're able to package them for a first-round pick. That really puts you in a place where, you're very clearly trying to pursue a goal to look towards the 2026 offseason. Now, you don't need to sell Ken Walker. But the last thing I'll say about Bijan Robinson is I'm not 100% opposed to moving him, but I don't think you need to either. You just need an absolute haul. So that's probably the last thing I'll look at here with you. And what I want to do is sort by running back strength and see who needs a running back. Help Stepborough definitely needs a running back. Yes. So, for example, can we come out and ask this team for a Dunze, the 104, and a future first-round pick? That's the type of deal you're going to have to get in order to move on from a Bijan Robinson. Okay? If you don't get an offer like that, you just hold him. And then you can, as you're punting this year, you can look in season, see if someone gets more desperate, these contenders, and they might come to your door instead. Let's see number 7, George's daddy. So they have no picks to work with, unfortunately. That's what makes the first guy so ideal. We could go like Marvin 107. Yeah, we could go that route as well. Marvin Harrison Jr. plus the 107 plus a future first. That's another route you could take, ideally 2027. That team looks like they could cash in some of these picks and compete, but of course they could also still be trying to reset. A deal like the 102, 103 and Worthy, I'm not completely opposed to, but I won't write that down. But as far as just like a structure, I wouldn't do it for like a Brees or a Mixon, the Kamaras. I do it for Achane in the first, but there's no first on that team. I'm not going to tear down to like Jacobs, Kyron, and get older at the position, or, McCaffrey's. Bucky is interesting now. I know you just made a trade with this guy, but yeah, you just traded this guy, so it's probably not going to work out, actually. I don't want to waste your time there. So yeah, I think that's the kind of deals you'd be looking for if you're going to move on from Bijan. But that's the direction I take this team, my friend. Definitely 1 year punt it. You're not in a terrible position, but there is still some work to be done on this team. We still got a little whiles to go before we're really competing in this league right now. But I want to leave the door open for you to ask any questions that I wasn't able to answer. And yeah, he says, are there any draft picks you would trade for players? Not really. Yeah. I don't think so. It just doesn't make sense unless you're wanting to turn this into like a sleeper competitive team. Like in an ideal world, you're hitting on these picks. You're finding another Bucky Irving. You're finding this year's Ladd McConkey. And you're turning like what is the 108. Let's say you draft Shador Sanders at the 112, for example, and then he turns into like a top 12 guy in Dynasty. And you're turning something that you spent the 112 on into like a 2 first valued player. And even if you can just do that twice with those picks, that's going to give you more movement than like sending the 108 for DJ Moore, for example. And also keep in mind that if you're going to trade these picks for players already in the NFL, they're probably good players and they're probably going to produce fantasy points, which you don't really want, as weird as that sounds. Like right now, as you're rebuilding, if you're in a league that does the draft order by reverse max points for, that would actually hurt you in a way. So yeah. But yeah, let me know. I want to take the time out here and make sure you feel good about this, my friend. And yeah, I think that's for the most part. That's probably all we'll do today after George. And tomorrow's stream will be completely dedicated to the team reviews. So, for example, M. Waller is first up. We've got Fixie here, and then there's a free queue. So if you want to get in on the queue, it's a great time too. We'll probably do these reviews here. We'll probably do those tomorrow morning offline. But yeah, awesome. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for supporting the channel. And we'll see you guys very, very soon. Enjoy the rest of your days. Your day, not your days, as in like your days are numbered. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right. Later, guys.